all week. Jack Riewoldt, it's also been about their ruckman, probably their best performed player this season. Evening to you.
Yes, you're right, Howie. Tom De Koning for the Carlton Football Club, critically important. That battle with Darcy Cameron tonight, obviously two of the premier ruckmen of the competition. I want TDK, as he's affectionately known, to push hard forward tonight. Can he challenge Darcy Cameron in front of the ball? No Harry Mackay again tonight, so Carlton are going to need that extra sort of tall down the line. But for Darcy Cameron, we know he likes to sit behind the ball and impact nearly as another defender and be that interceptor as well. So Tom De Koning's got his caught up against him there. But I also think clearance-wise, can Carlton dominate the clearances tonight? We know fifth in the competition. They average 44. Bring it into that contest game and potentially bring Collingwood down to their level.
That's Jack Riewoldt, the best analyst in the business, is beside him. David King, nice to see you. Kingy, where does the run come from for the Blues?
Evening all. Look, I think that when you're talking about the modern game now becoming a ball movement game, I look at Adam Sard and I say, man, this is made for you. We've seen him run and gun 2 or 3 times for the season. We used to see it 8 times a game. I want to see him get back to that free-flowing best. He's only had, what, 3 score involvements in the last couple of weeks. Now, he, at his best, is playing with full deer. Look at this. I'm not bothering to give it up. I know you're free Walshy, but I'm going. I'm out and gone. And this is when Carlton are at their best. Pure ball movement, get the crowd involved. Tonight is an Adam Sard type night. He's 1 game away from 200 games. I don't want him to limp there. I want him to crash through that 200 barrier next week with a big performance tonight.
On the boundary tonight, Thursday night footy for Fox, Eddie Benson, Brad Johnson. And Jono, last 5 minutes, the wind has really started whipping around the G.
Oh, it has, Howie. It actually is pushing over the top of us, hitting the grandstand end and bouncing off it. It is going to create an element that the players will have to deal with.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, it's weird because it's coming straight towards us. And then when we just get out to the 50 bit, it's going straight to the Richmond end. So it's going to be a bit difficult out here, especially if you're playing this wing on the side.
Definitely, Howie. You've got to play this side of the ground. If you're going to have your shots for goal, it's in this sort of 45-degree area at ground level. And it's game on down here. It's ready to go. The atmosphere here at ground level is absolutely electric.
So much to look forward to. We saw those amazing shots of the sky in the background around the MCG as the Pies get ready to take on the Blues. The discussion always is about the Dacos boys when Collingwood play. What happens with Nick tonight, David King?
Oh, I'm interested to see, one, how Craig McRae uses him. Is he going to be the clearance winner? I don't know if they get full bang for buck with Nick, with his ball use, if he's inside traffic. As a half-back or a free-flowing flanker type, you just get full damage. So from a Collingwood point of view, you want full damage. And how do you tag him, really? I mean, we can talk about Hewitt going to him at stoppages, but outside of that, he's going to get his time to impact this game. And let's just see if the little champ can turn one on tonight.
I'd love to see him play a little bit forward. You can see the coin toss happening here. But I'd love to see him play half forward and just roll up to stop it and get a bit of a licence. If he's going to have 30, which we think he can have 30 anywhere, Kingy, don't we?
Yeah.
Why would you not want to have 30 centre forward? That's where he can be his most damaging for mine.
Jack, I love your description with Eddie and Brad about the way Charlie Curnow needs to play Darcy more tonight, trying to get back, trying to make me uncomfortable. Can't wait to see that battle tonight.
Yeah, some feedback already from a former coach of mine and a few ex-teammates. They thought it was the best segment they've seen on Fox this year. I have to disagree. But this is... Charlie Curnow was poor against Hawthorn. He found a little bit of form against the Bulldogs. I just feel that he's ready to explode, and he needs to think about, one, his own game, but also the game of Darcy Moore, who we know is a champion back.
So much to look forward to tonight. Jack Crisp in action, playing his 241st straight game, which is quite extraordinary. And as I welcome Matty Hill, the man that calls it all for the first time this evening, Scott Pendlebury equals Sean Burgoyne for the 3rd most games of all time on 407. Only Michael Tuck and Brent Harvey now ahead of him.
He's been playing for a long time in these big occasions, and they're a big occasion club. Collingwood, you'd be expecting the Blues to come out of the gates pretty quickly in the first quarter, and 0-3 leading in. But Collingwood, they're used to the big occasion. 80,000 again here. The two foes, Carlton and Collingwood, at Australia's greatest sporting coliseum, the MCG. We're about to get underway. What are we going to see tonight? It's round 4, but the adrenaline is pumping. So the opening bounce. The Blues to the right of screen. The Opening bounce to Koning, won the first tap, looking for Cripps, didn't go in that direction. Houston off the deck, and up and under for Collingwood. Clash of bodies there, going in Hewitt, got a handball away. Holland's wrapped up by Chris Jack.
Interesting matchup early on. Sam Walsh going to Dan Houston, so potentially a more offensive player.
Koning, Cameron down towards Cripps, taps it back to the Collingwood ruckman, drops his head and just punches the ball forward. First inside 50, Meyer checks Silvani, good battle there. Perryman, Pendlebury finds space. Here he is, Nick Dacos. First opportunity for Bobby Hill, goes the one-hander. 80,000 get out of their seat.
A little bit of sizzle early there.
I just got to watch Degoe. He floated forward all alone after that centre bounce. Pendlebury rolls up. He plays as the extra midfielder, and Degoe charges forward. Gee, he had some space.
Cameron leading the charge, just taps it to the advantage of Pendlebury, who couldn't quite break clear, and in the end trying to keep it in. McGovern hatches over the line and out.
Another interesting sign here. Patrick Cripps actually forwarded this contest here, so he's now matched up on Houston as well.
So Cameron closer to Koning this time. To Saad, who's going to be important tonight. Up in the air, big fist from De Koning. Quaynor grabs it. Fogarty takes him to ground. The umpire wants it.
As the rain starts to fall at ground level, Darcy Moore, Lewis Young doing everything he can at the moment just to be by his side and match him up tonight.
Just light rain in front of the Shane Warne stand. Hewitt shoves it about 40 metre forward out towards the wing. Curnow, Frampton back in the side. Does really well there. Charlie uses good body and drives the ball forward. Howe has got a couple of steps on Kemp coming off 5 last week. Did he make any effort to keep the ball in play? All good.
That's a win there for Carlton. Just Curnow getting up the ground, getting an early touch. So important for him just to get up and get involved in the game. Gets it forward, and all of a sudden you go stoppage to stoppage, 60 metres close to your own goal.
30th edition of the Peter Mack Cup tonight, taking a stand against cancer. Richard Pratt medal being played for as well. Kick deflects to Hollands. Hewitt's got a bit of work to do. The little chap's got him. Dacos and also Cripps, of course, on the ground tonight. Separated by 7 votes in the Brownlow last year. Dacos's kick looking for Lipinski, punched away from Cowan.
I guess the early question is, why is Darcy Moore not going to Charlie Curnow? Charlie look across and see Frampton and say, hey, you're going to disrespect me like this, look out.
So why are they doing it, Kingy?
I don't know, because Young's taking him to the goal square.
Keep an eye on that throughout the night. David King will talk you through it. Just gets away from Perryman. Motlop tried to get it quickly to Cripps. Might work out eventually. And Kemp in those purple boots powers into the pack.
He's got a big job tonight too. Kemp playing on Jeremy Howe, who will look to intercept in both those two key forward contests.
Been really gusting through the commentary box window. Lipinski, Perryman, forward hand pass to Space. Good space too. Bobby Hill gets a little toe poke on it. Hems the boundary line. Insufficient.
Doherty brings it back to Hollands. He's got Degoe very short. So just stagnant off half back for the first time. It's Hollands' kick to half forward. Moore sets himself. Couldn't quite complete the grab. Quick click by Motlop. Bouncing football. Quaynor's there. Couldn't quite pick it up. And it's going to be a ball up about 15 metres out.
You see Tom De Koning just getting forward there, being that aerial contest.
He's got to watch he doesn't grab this out of the ruck. He does it more than any other ruckman.
There's a chance for Carlton. Fogarty with the quick snap. It's the first score. We've gone about 3 minutes.
The sides just sounding each other out at the moment. Howe with that knee strap short to Pendlebury. Game 407 for the Collingwood champ. Always cleans his house the morning of a game, apparently. He's just the perfect man. He's out towards Cameron, Silvani. Hard to top that.
It's a lot of clean houses.
It's a lot.
Some withering position behind the ball here. Straight line, 50 metres off the stoppage. McStay.
Koning, Cameron, to ground it goes. Chera, Akers, Hewitt. Darting ball inside 50. Stolen out of the air. Jeremy Howe. He's going to be looking to be the wall tonight. It's a dangerous looking kick. It's okay though, as they transfer from Houston and then makes Quaynor work. It may be a first indication of how swirly that breeze really is.
Yeah, Quaynor was looking to the next option already before he even had the ball. Carlton actually set up pretty well behind the ball, paired off nicely. So it was going to be a slow play anyway.
Nick Dacos is beside Hewitt, Pendlebury and Cripps. Some mouth-watering matchups there. The ruckman go out at Motlop's free. Can't get it towards him. Walsh is in the area. Pendlebury comes through with a touch of class, picks it up cleanly. Hand passes out in front of Cowan and Hill. Wiedering comes back, sees it out of danger.
Some big jobs in the Carlton defence. McGovern's got Elliott, and Saad has the big task on Jordan De Goey.
A big crowd in, over 80,000 you'd suggest. They nullify each other. Shearer off the deck, good enough to get to Walsh. Spat out to Doherty, whistle, high contact, advantage paid. Shearer laterally to Silvani. What a name on a night like this. Kick towards centre half forward. No mark taken, fell to Curnow. Then he puts Cripps under pressure. Play on is the call. It's a hot football. Pendlebury out to Frampton. Frampton's wobbly kick. It's over the head of Lipinski, who's got time to pick it up and time to have a run. Nick Dacos says, just keep running, son. He stops, he backtracks for a moment. Kick towards the 50. Elliott's got it. Plays on quickly. Here's a chance. Dacos, long ball, and to the left. That would have been something in a Collingwood-Carlton clash.
It all starts with a tackle. Quaynor just mows him down. He sees what's happening in real time, and he put Paddy Cripps in the crosshairs.
Big names involved early. Pendlebury 5, Nick Dacos 3. As Carlton transitioning quickly and effectively to Young on the wing.
That'll be the last time you see Charlie Curnow give that handball.
Not the required. Akers is involved in the passage. Chris comes back, mops up another one for Pendlebury to the skipper, Moore. Now Houston, he's got Lipinski on the outer side. Bit of space now for the Pies as they drive it to half forward. Bobby Hill's on a long lead. He's been busy early. Can't quite keep the ball in play.
Now that's a win for Carlton because they stopped the handball game at Collingwood. If they handball chain from half back, that's when they're absolutely at their best. So to force them back into a kicking game swings the pendulum back to the Blues.
Koning won it narrowly. Lipinski out to side bottom. Centering ball. Bit of a wrestle going on. Silvani and Myercheck couldn't complete it. Saad off the deck, still alive for the Pies. Hewitt goes in, defending grimly. They're out. Walsh to centre half back. Handball on to Akers. Akers with a little bit of dodging and weaving. Did it well in the end, but the kick was too much. And Young and Moore eventually take it out. So those lateral kicks are interesting because the wind is coming towards us in the broadcast box, Jack, so it was just a bit too hot, that kick.
Yeah, it is, but it also buys time for the defence to set up. So you speak of that Collingwood handball game, the lateral kicks, Carl will be loving those because then they can get more numbers behind the ball and become defensively stronger.
Off and upstairs, Michael Voss selecting the coach from the bench tonight for the Blues. And there is a young man on debut. Will White only picked up on the SSP 39 days ago, a Carlton supporter. Now he gets his first touch. What a moment. He gives it to Saad. Needs to be clever. Uses his pace back to Silvani. Just a high ball towards the flank. Cameron gets hands to it. Akers. Chris, no room to move from Walsh. There's White again. He's been nice early with a couple of touches. Cripps measures it. This is a good build-up. Williams' hand pass just missed Walsh on the way through. Again now to Hollands. First real opportunity for the game. Hollands kicks the opener, and that's what the Blues and their fans want.
Well, it's all Sam Walsh. His ability to run and get involved. Sure, it's not perfect. The game never is. but he's turning up for those handball receives, and tonight he's being honoured. So what it does, it draws a crowd. Look at him go here.
He's yelling for it, Kingy. He's yelling for it.
Oh, that's what we want. Demand the footy. Look at him in the middle there. And they say, well, he's our main man. Didn't quite work out, but the runners are there in real time. The support was enormous. It's a halfback's world, and Holland says, hey, I'm going to hit the scoreboard as well.
Oh, what a finish. Absolute great finish there. Speaking about the handball game from Collingwood, Carlton have just hit them straight back between the eyes with exactly that. Not straight handballs coming back off the line. And Hollands is a weapon they've tried to use off half-back, and he's just struck there. Throws a punch back at Collingwood.
At the restart, DeConing tries to go himself, and then Cameron got boot to ball, didn't go anywhere. Nick Dacos picked it up. Working in tandem there. Houston with a little bit of a shepherd. Dacos retreating. Found Houston. Now Josh Dacos. Back to Houston. Going nowhere fast at the moment. They've got the ball, but for how long? Kemp couldn't quite. DeConing. Sard. Curnow. Is he looking for that handball, Kiggy? I don't think so. He kicks it long towards the top of the square. There's no one home, but he's offline.
That's that mark from Charlie Curnow. Needs to use the ball just a little bit better though, but more of those marks around that 50 to 70 area in transition. Just buys time to give strength. The ball is not going to blow up in his hands. He's just got to take his time, wait for the option to open up.
Elliott's on long down the middle, all alone. If they can go quickly here.
Instead, they bury it into the pocket. Houston to the flank. DeConing showing his value with size and strength. Gets front possession, takes the intercept mark. Assesses the options. On the left, Elliott arrived well, affected a spoil. Works out in the end to Lord. He only goes as far as Josh Dacos. Now to Schultz. Chain of hand pass. Sard gets involved, cuts it off nicely. Opportunity again for Sard. Ball's in good position. And in the end, the two communicate. And the ruckman Cameron relieves the pressure.
Frampton back on the side tonight. Reece McGuinness injured for the Pies. Houston kick to the congestion. Young, Myercheck went hands down to Silvani. Lords, Walsh, Cripps. Holland's in a bit of a pickle. He's gone this time.
He's hesitated on getting it forward.
Lays on to Josh Dacos. Staggers around. Uses Cameron again. They're just a little bit rattled at the moment, but Chris can steady the ship at the wing.
Carlton setting up well behind the ball here, slowing Collingwood up.
What are you saying, Kingy?
Well, just good organisation from Carlton behind the ball. Wiedering's instructions been terrific.
Chris gets around his man easily. Pendlebury. Nick Dacos outside of the foot. Moyer's in position. Really well spoilt. McGovern arrives, gives it back to Chera. Now Haynes. Doherty clears it to the wing.
So it's a battle here. No mark taken by McStay. Out the back, Houston. What an important pickup he's been, and he sends it down the throat of Schultz. So Schultz looking for options. Nothing presenting, so he kicks it to the pack at the top of the square. Off hands, dangerous territory. To go, he can get a boot to it. He did, but Wietering was able to get a fingertip to it too.
So that last exit that came out for Carlton was only Motlop there, 1v3. That's where you need Curnow and Kemp being up, creating that contest. Can't rely on your small spin. 1v3 there.
Going to Chera. Aggressive. Works out okay. Will White, great name for a footballer. He started well with his third touch. Now Lord, promising young player. Taking a bit off it here, the Blues. Just gets away from Young. Might work out though. Coming through is Cowan, gives it to the skipper. Cripps from 35. Listen to Carlton fans.
They are rushing forward. I'm watching Walsh, I'm watching Cripps. They are just charging forward. They're taking some risk. They're playing with a bit of dare here, the Blues. They've done this in first halves over the last few weeks, and it's worked for them. It's never perfect, but look at them turning up, providing another option in the end. They just had one too many for the Pies to curtail.
Just love the angle of the movement from Carlton as well. It's not straight line. They're constantly shifting the ball off the line. And as that happens, up the ground, Collingwood defenders are having to scramble. They're thinking the option's coming down on the skinny side. All of a sudden, it comes back through the middle, and it opened them right up.
36 handballs already. It's become a reward game. Turn up and you'll get rewarded. Walsh has been the beneficiary of that.
Great finish.
Sard's on. Sard looks invested tonight. Short spell on the bench.
3 goals against Collingwood in 2018, round 14 did Cripps. His side bottom comes blazing out of the middle. Long ball towards full forward. Meyer check, got a touch to it, taken to ground by 2 Blues and a ball up.
I just look a better side with Silvani behind the ball for mine as well. You'd love 2 of him, 1 to play forward, but they're shoring up down back with him.
Up it goes. McStay tapped it towards Memory, but he's got Waitering there. And another stoppage.
Dan Lewis, same again.
He's going to play it again, Sam. This time the big fist only as far as Hill. Out he goes to Maynard. Darting ball. It's a low ball. Meyer check has got the shepherd right on the line. It's a goal. Collingwood hit back.
Well, it was a doozer, but it got there. It was doing plenty in the air, and Silvani, he's not happy with the work that's done on the goal line, but you can get away with anything. They're just outnumbered there.
There's Fogarty who sort of came off Maynard there as well, trying to press her in and
He's trying to split. Yeah, he's trying to split the two. Some good work on the line there from Hajek, just to ensure that it gets over the line. Quality finish. See there, you can see he just gets caught in between the two, does Fogarty, and he's not sure whether to guard Maynard or side bottom, and in the end, he rolls Snake Eyes.
Houston with 8, Pendlebury 7, Sard 6, Nakers 5. What's Snake Eyes, Kingy?
Not a good result for you.
Spending more time at the casino, apparently. Works out okay to Schultz. Wobbles it forward. Haynes under pressure. The runners come. Silvani. Elliott tries to put a boot on it, but the big hand of Wiedering calms the situation.
It's a few times now that ball's got out the back of a contest in the Collingwood forward line. Very vulnerable if you're a Carlton back running back towards goal, trying to pick it up. Got to keep it in front.
Carlton supporters' blood pressure just goes up a little every time Elliott's near it. It's that famous goal end of round 22 a few years ago. Right up against the boundary, the kick smothered on Memory against Lord. It will be thrown in.
Collingwood on top of clearances, 9-5, 3-0 out of the middle. Let's see what they can do here.
So Young work towards the front. Akers does the crumbing, does a little 360, and then a bouncing ball, could bounce anywhere. Williams with the big fist, only as far as Perryman. Bit of a hot potato football at the moment. Maynard coming through, got the handball to Pendlebury, to Lipinski. Well, he was trying to get it to Elliott, but it was smothered. Then he was taken to ground by Terra. That was hot work by the young Blue. Ball it up.
Critical touch there, Mains.
Young in the ruck with McStay. Gets the best of it. High down towards Akers. Can't clear the area. Elliott with some body pressure. Perryman inches it forward. Elliott dangerous around the sticks. Caught in a good tackle though, and Akers disposes of him. The footy and the whole lot across the line. Holding the ball.
That's hot. That's hot. It's a hot start. Carney's just made his way back on the ground. He'll be the target.
So Akers, kick flirts with the line. Houston with the fist into the first row.
And with that as well, Kingy, now Lewis Young has pushed back. Darcy Moore got the match up on Curnow. Now Young going from the ruck, pushing forward. He goes straight to Darcy Moore again.
Brad Johnson and Eddie Betts on the boundary for us, because Eddie with that goal of the year, round 21 in 2006. one of these shootouts between these two adversaries. Pendlebury from the ruck, handball to go. He's got Akers there for good measure. Got rid of Akers, couldn't get rid of the line.
I just wonder why Collingwood are happy to have more on Young, 40 metres from Charlie Curnow. Howe now has the job on Charlie.
And stay with front position. Hewitt. Akers.
Craig McRae's thinking at the moment with that move, kicking that Darcy Moore is the last line of defence. So at the moment, it's whoever goes deepest forward is the matchup for Darcy Moore.
So Charlie has to capitalise on the mismatch.
DeConey, two hands to it. Spilled away towards Crisp. McStay outside of the left boot. High check. Centimetres away.
The other one for me, if I'm Lewis Young and I'm playing on Darcy Moore and he's wanting to take me deep, I go as far deep as I can, really create 50 metres of space around Charlie Curnow.
Don't worry, Charlie's telling him, get out of my space.
Koning tries to go himself. Schultz on hands and knees. Walsh locked up. Up it goes again to Koning, this time to fist straight to Hewitt. The Collingwood players read that well also. Of course, Collingwood winning 133 of these clashes, Carlton 129, throwing 4 draws as well. As Perryman's got an opportunity blazing away, it's more than an opportunity. Harry Perryman's first goal of the year, and it's all square at the MCG.
Well, that's 2 goals for forward 50 stoppages. That kicked 1 goal for the year prior to tonight coming in forward 50 stoppage work. So this is excellent. And again, wasn't a great kick. Didn't spin pure, but it doesn't matter. 6 points in the book. Got the ball hand to boot really quickly. And good work again on the goal line from Mychek.
2 kicks haven't been pretty, but they've been effective enough, Kingy.
For a team that prides themselves on stoppage as well, it's what Carlton have been really good at this year, is that to give up 2 goals from forward 50 stoppage, it's critical in terms of getting that right going forward in this game.
Moyer and Long are the substitutes this evening at the MCG. So the opening 2 Hollands from Cripps, then Maynard and Perryman reply for the Pies. All square. Crowd continues to pour into this great stadium. Williams, thought he had an Achilles issue last week. Good to see him out there. Dangerous bouncing ball, clears everyone. Motlop's got the pace, doesn't quite get to him. Fogarty out by hand. Is Will White driving towards goal? Carlton fan growing up, all of a sudden your first game is in front of 80,000 against the arch rivals, Matty. Wow.
It's a little bit different from the South Warrnambool Roosters, but he was a part of their successful squad a couple of years ago. Here's Crisp. Thinks about going laterally, but he's going to go long instead. That's Mychek, a little nudge to the Koning, but the umpire didn't mind, and then he's got himself into a bit of a pickle with a slip. Josh Dacos, Crisp, Maynard, goal kicker already this quarter. Darting ball, they could have raffled it. McStay, Nick Dacos, kick inside, looking for Bobby. Haynes disposed of him. Umpire didn't mind. The Collingwood fans did.
Haynes releases immediately. Silvani's then half back. Thought about the overlap hand pass, ignored it. Went for a bit more safety to Lord. Now they're looking to go through the corridor. Cherry will be under pressure, stands up nicely. Takes a good contested mark against Josh Dacos. Back in board, uses Lord again. He's been in the chain twice. Cooper Lord, duck mid-2023. Haynes sizes the ball, and Young has just got half a metre or more. Funny little poke forward, and here is Will White, the man we just mentioned from Warrnambool. In front of 80,000, grew up supporting the Blues, and now he's going to attempt to kick his first AFL goal. What a moment.
It's evident the way Carlton are trying to use the ball out of their back half. High-risk kicks, which obviously bring turnover into it, but they absolutely just moved it up nicely there for the young man to have his first shot.
Some nerves with the family. VFL last year, gets his opportunity in the big time. Will White looks like a likely type, but doesn't kick his first AFL goal.
Interesting to hear Vossi before the game. So he's quite verbose around the club, very keen to be involved.
Not short on confidence, a bit like you, Matthew.
Thank you. You needed doing this, I can tell you. Josh Dacos' long ball cut off by McGovern. Akers retreats back. McGovern kick towards the clock at who to? Curnow sets himself, didn't mark it. Umpire is going to give it to Collingwood and Frampton.
Oh, it's a big win for Billy. He's got the job on Charlie Curnow at the moment.
Out of Crisp. And they play on quickly with a couple of gaps here. Mine check with the ball. Just kept running and running away from him.
Great press by Hollins there as well. Had to leave Bobby Hill, one of the most dangerous players on the ground, just to come up and make sure that ball went out. Extremely risky, but great team play on team defence.
10 disposals to Akers, leads all comers at the moment. DeConey. Chris breaks a tackle. Left foot off the instep inside. Elliott tries to get separation. Haynes attacks it. Started nicely. Hollins. Motlop. Now Sard with a bit of run. Spreads it further wide. Good build up. Come back from Akers inboard. McGovern. Important kick through the middle. Pinpoints Motlop. Look for the runners. They didn't come. So he drives it forward himself to Fogarty. He had a good piece of it. Spilled it in the end. Young applies the tackle on Darcy Moore.
He had players out everywhere, Motlop. If he just flared his vision to the left, he had two streaming to the top of 50, including Ogchera.
DeConing catches it himself. Didn't go anywhere. Hewitt trying to break the congestion. Trundled it out. Side bottom. Moore by hand out to Josh Dacos. He's in a little bit of a pickle. So, tunnel ball to side bottom. Pendlebury dropped it. Pressure out there. It's pressure city. Going in Motlop, and the umpire will have it.
Now it's pressure when Scott Pendlebury fumbles, one of the cleanest players in the competition for over 400 games.
Moyer was removing his substitute top. We'll get down to Eddie Betts shortly. Concern for the Blues. Hollins tries to get away from McCreary. Tackle comes. They pay the advantage. Not sure it was one. Interesting decision. Elliott applies a tackle. Eddie Betts is down on the boundary end.
Lockie Cowan came off with a contest and went straight down the race. Hadn't come back up. So Ashton Moyer is the sub for Carlton, has got his T-shirt off and ready to come on.
Bad news for Cowan. Thinks it. Perryman hand passes in hope more than anything else. Side bottom. Hasn't been sighted a great deal. Breaks the tackle. Delivers to Goey perfectly. Just looped it over a defender's head right to Jordan De Goey, who'll line up from 45.
Well, they're smashing him at stoppage. Collingwood just have the perfect positioning. It's normally the sweeper that's getting involved and then taking them forward. And watch them explode here. Sard's got good, dominant, aggressive positioning. He's expecting some pressure on the ball, not to be.
Pick 5 way back in 2014. Difficult in swirling conditions. De Goey towards the Blues fans. Jordan De Goey on the board. Pies take the lead for the first time for the night.
Still side bottom, one of the most skilled players in the competition, but just the ability to exit out the front here, it's so damaging. That missed tackle there from Hollins and just creates this sort of flow-on effect where the next player has to come up, gets caught in front. Great finish here from Jordan Goey. The wind's swirling at the G at the moment.
That's 3 goals now from stoppage to the favour of the Pies. See how quickly they get forward of the pack in the damaging positions immediately.
Kicked 4 against the Blues in round 2 of 2021. It's his first on the board tonight. Great atmosphere here at the G. As it's one down by Cameron, De Goey was able to Fossick for it. Cripps taken by De Goey. Cripps just blinded there for a moment, didn't know what he was looking at. Gave it to Sard. Sard's kick towards Charlie. Curnow, he's slowly been working into form this part of the season here. Jack, what a night to bring it to life.
Yes, just got that extension off Frampton, who's playing on him at the moment. It was too easy, and we know Charlie Curnow gets in front like that. Big, strong body. Needs to finish now.
He's kicked 3 goals this season so far. He'll be kicking just inside the arc. Curnow comes in. It's straight and true. That's what the Blues wanted to see.
I can't help but feel that Charlie's thinking to himself, well, if you don't want to put Darcy Moore on me, I'm going to rip the game to shreds. That's the first high ball that's come in with any real purpose that he could launch at.
It was Sard as well that got the handball receive, and he's the one that gets speed on the ball. But you're exactly right, David King. As soon as the key forward gets a matchup they like, they lick their lips and just craftily use the players in front of him to get a little bit of a block and a great finish.
And it's a team goal, really. I mean, the mark is set up by the fact that they isolate the Pied defenders, and it's Frampton v Charlie with no support. It's just a genuine one-on-one. Look at that, you can see there. They're pulling Maynard away. Young's got a full clamp on Darcy Moore in the goal square. So it's Billy Frampton versus the Carlton superstar.
Back in the middle. Free kick in the middle. There's a block, so it'll go the way of DeConey. Bit of momentum for the Blues. Sard wants it wide. He switches it to the outer side instead. Maynard comes in hard. Kemp arrives late. Lord, Houston, Josh Dacos, squeeze it along the boundary. McCreary, Akers. Hollins does well. It's a slick hand pass. Comes back in board. Walsh is waiting for it. Cripps couldn't pick it up. Free kick though. Cripps and Dacos. What a contest that is.
And they isolate Charlie here.
They drop it down in that area. Frampton's in best position though. Darcy Moore. Carlton players want insufficient intent. Umpires disagree.
Charlie didn't go. He got there too early and he turned for the front and square.
Thought he was Eddie Betts for a sec there.
We're just not assessing that. They're setting up for you.
Fascinating first quarter. It's got 37 seconds left of life in it. DeConey tries to catch it. Gets a second opportunity.
Jeez. You nearly got to play that like the old Tom Hawkins, the player grabbing.
He's done it the most of any ruckman in the competition.
They have to know, surely.
50. He's done it 5 times for the year now.
Houston told to move the footy. Pulls the kick. It's superb to Dacos. Great vision and ability to hit a target. Possession 8 for Josh alongside his brother 7. Schultz got a hand over the shoulder of Haynes. They play on through Walsh. Time continues to drop away. Mark needed, but not provided. Cameron cuts it off. Wild kick. Won't be a problem though. And a little bit on too. Such rivalry between these clubs. Nick Dacos is there. The Ocean Grove Flyer. Sam Walsh. Now the big boys come in. Starting to get involved. Doesn't look to be anything too serious. There's now 25 players in there. Not going to be too much serious about it. Charlie's having a push and a shove. Maynard, not a man you can cross any day of the week. The umpires just separated them. Jamie Elliott still wants to have a chat. Moore gives Silvani a shove. It might just spark up again here now. Akers. Maynard is not surprisingly right in the middle. Nearly lost his jumper. Scott Pendlebury's calming things down though. Now they separate. Maynard's still got a bit to say. Moore and Curnow. So some real feeling, not surprisingly, between the two sides. Quarter time here. Carlton kicked the first 2, Collingwood the next 3. Curnow to give the Blues the lead at quarter time at a packed MCG. MCG, the Blues 3-5-23, Collingwood 3-2-20. Coming up tomorrow night, the AFL heads down to the Cattery, Cardinia Park. Geelong take on Melbourne.
All right, folks, there we go. It is quarter time here at the MCG. What a game we've got on our hands tonight, of course. One of the biggest rivalries in football, Collingwood versus Carlton. Carlton 3-5-23, lead by 3 points at quarter time, 3-2-20, the Magpies. Carlton got off to a good start. The Magpies clawed their way back. Carlton securing that final goal of the term, put them back in front. Charlie Curnow was very happy with that. So with the Carlton. For mine, Carlton has probably had a little bit more of the play in this quarter. The good thing, I think Collingwood fans will be very happy where they're sitting only 3 points behind at the present stage. We know Carlton can come out running in the opening 2 to 3 quarters and then fall away in the last quarter. What will happen to Carlton in the last quarter tonight? That will be all seen here, not too far away. Not too far away, but should be a great game. And it is a great game, as it always is. So just welcome in Tino Bem Bem, of course, in the live chat. Adrian Sports Channel, Sunset Wanderer Paul, Teddy, how you going? You got to love Brendan Maynard. I tell you what, he's a gun. He's a bull. He'll be in there right at the front line for them. But I tell you what, it's a cracking game. There's a swirly breeze out there, 14 degrees here in Melbourne. Not the warmest. Let me just bring this over here. Just have a quick look at some of the lineups there, the ins and outs. Of course, for Collingwood coming in was Billy Frampton and Brodie Myercheck, and going out was Reef McGuinness and the tall man, USA man, Mason Cox. Over there for Carlton, the ins were Moyer, Ashton Moyer, Cooper Lord, Willie White, and of course, going out were Matthew Cottrell, Jordan Boyd, Francis Evans, the new player, Willie White. And that is his milestone game. That's his debut game today. Good luck to him. Let's quickly just pop over and have a look at some of the team stats. Let me just reload this up. I would expect some of Carlton players to be on top here. And of course, that's exactly what we see. Just have a look at the goal scorers, though, before we go any further. And of course, we'll go back down to the bounce of the ball for the second quarter. It's going to be a fantastic game, folks. Don't go anywhere. Harry Perryman, Brendan Maynard, Jordan Ngoe, the single goal scorers there for the Magpies. For the Carlton Blue Baggers, of course, Oliver Hollands, the first goal scorer of the match for Carlton. Charlie Curnow and Paddy Cripps, the Brownlow medalist, scoring singles there for the Blues. Black Acres there, top of the table there. For Carlton, on 13 possessions there, 4 kicks, 9 handballs. He's had a couple tackles. 4 tackles, 2 clearances, doing well. Dan Houston, he's having a good game there for the Maggies. He's on 11, 9 kicks, 2 handballs. Scotty Penrelby, the old boy. I think he's he's up there with the top 3 games in the AFL, VFL history, so he's doing pretty well there. I think that's what I heard them say in front of about an 80,000+ crowd tonight. I'll tell you what, the crowd will come alive if either team gets on top. Adam Saad there doing a good job with 9. Harry Perryman with 8 and Josh Dacos there with 8 for the Magpies. For Carlton, Sam Walsh on 7. Tom DeConing having a good game, 7 disposals. He's had 3 kicks, 4 handballs, 1 mark, 1 tackle, 8 hitouts, 2 clearances and a behind, so he's doing well. Nick Dacos there, the superstar from the Magpies. He's just had 7 touches. He's looking ominous. Hasn't really been let off the chain just yet, but I'm sure that will happen. The other star there for Carlton, Paddy Cripps, the 5 touches. He's been in and amongst the play, even only with the 5 touches, 3 kicks, 2 handballs, couple clearances, and he snagged a sausage roll on top of that. So that is all good. Just roll down the board quickly. Jamie Elliott, just the 1 touch. Jordan DeGoey, just the 1 touch. He's had 1 kick, 1 mark, and put it through for a goal. So that was good to see him get a bit of touch. I'm sure he'll be placed on the ball at some stage, but that's about all the stats for the players we've got just at the moment. Let's head back down to the ground, and they'll take us away for the second quarter, whereas the Blue Baggers by 3 points.
Over. Yeah, if you just watch, there we go. That could have ended a bit worse as well if he smacked his head, but it's a rivalry match. It's a bit beef, and this is what you want.
It is. It's exactly right, Howard. That just sparked the energy levels right around this stadium.
A bit of no love lost between these two sides. Don't you worry about that. They went off for ages, actually. I haven't seen a little brouhaha, and the rain is starting to come down heavy down there, so no doubt Jono and Eddie will be loving that. But from a Carlton point of view, it's been the turnover game they've been able to score from, and they've given up goals. Collingwood have been able to exploit them from the contest and stoppage game as well. The other one you speak about with a player that hasn't had an impact is Jacob Wiedering. Hasn't touched the ball yet. He's been well held by Membry and McStay, so another little byplay there as well.
So the crowds are going for a few ponchos, etc., but they're loving what they're seeing here at the moment. Carlton by 3 at quarter time. And kick off the second term. De Koning wins it down towards Hewitt, who scooped it back to De Koning, to Cripps, to Lord, hoping for Cripps in the centre circles. McCreary all over him. Cripps got the kick away. Side bottom, little tap, Pendlebury. Handball over the top. Will it sit for Nick Dacos? Doherty tried to apply the pressure. Handball wide for Pendlebury. Cripps overruns it. Hewitt, De Koning, sitting up for Walsh. Goes off the deck. Might be clever with these conditions. Quaynor in a race for it. Frampton's there for support. Charlie's not in the contest. Frampton grabbed, standing tackle. He got rid of it, but illegally holding the football.
Great tackle by Motlop there. Curnow was the one that came over and put the pressure on originally. Motlop just followed up nicely.
Curnow's in the pocket, not the area at the moment. Doherty sends it forward. De Koning with a fist to bring it to ground level. Touch slippery out there. Maynard, precision is perfect. Great vision to hit Crisp. The rain getting heavier here at the MCG. Quaynor. Looks to the corridor. Nothing presents. It just goes very short to Pendlebury. On the left. Wiedering arrives. Gets away from the chest mark. McCreary. Crisp. Clean. McCreary has no room with Hollins. Needs to let him go. Held on for a long time. Haynes butters up. Hewitt. There's that slippery ball, and it lands in the hands of Nick Dacos. Trouble here. Hand pass just missed. McCreary gives it back to Elliott. Within range, Jamie Elliott slides it forward. Doesn't register.
Just got to understand the play, the conditions at the moment. It is wet out there, so handballs like that are risky.
Kemp, little one to Lord. Had to be good, and it was effective. Quick movement towards half forward. Curnow takes it, second crack. Plays on quickly. He's got a man all on his own. De Koning didn't quite hit him though. Cripps came in. Handball to Pendlebury at short range. Back to Josh Dacos. He's got a man leading for him. It was Membry, but cut off better by McGovern, who read it like a book. And then his kick to the pocket's a sloppy one out.
It's 2 times in a row there. Carlton just rushing with the ball centre forward. That's where you can actually allow your offence to catch up. A really important press up there by McGovern, but just did not need to play on.
Rain just easing MCG momentarily. Neither ruckman are involved, so side bottom goes off the bounce. Sends it 20 metres away from his defensive goal by his fist. McGovern, McCreary, the 2 Max. No progress.
It's that frantic footy from the back half from Carlton we've seen, but you've got to understand, once you get centre forward, you can actually start to just have a little bit more composure, allow the game to open up.
Cameron narrowly, but Doherty was there, and then he's just dumped it on the boot and missed everything.
On the last 5 clearances, Carlton haven't been able to really hurt Collingwood with them just yet.
Josh Dacos. Along the line he goes, Wiedering in the middle of the pack, off hands. Membry, one of the first there with Elliott. Elliott slipped the tackle. Hand pass, too hot for Dacos. McGovern, De Koning goes back to Wiedering. Then Wiedering's kick was similar to what we saw moments ago, and out of bounds on the full. Some skill errors here in these windy and wet conditions.
Blues doing everything they can to prevent Nick Dacos getting the 1-2. Every time he gets rid of possession, a Carlton player bundles into him, tries to take him to ground.
The captain's taken responsibility for Nick Dacos at stoppages, as Patrick Cripps.
What a battle that is too. 1 and 2 in the Brownlow, as Billy pointed out. Incredible numbers. Wiedering stands up nice in front of Elliott. Now there's an opportunity forward. Hand pass to Doherty. Young, Moore arrives late with a fist. Does really well, Darcy Moore. Keeps it in play. Josh Dacos, too much on it for Chris. Back to Doherty. By hand, Walsh didn't have the footy when Maynard took him to ground.
He's got to let the game unfold here now, Carlton. They don't want to be kicking it along. You still want to get another sort of short kick. This one here.
So Hollands. No one leading. He's got short one laterally. Goes long instead of the pockets. Curnow waits at the back, almost came to him. Motlop barging through the pack, keeps it alive. Young still keeps it alive. Kemp can't quite pick it up. Pies all over him. And that'll be a ball up.
This is where TDK will grab it out of the ruck.
He's tried it numerous times already, although it's going to be Cripps in the ruck. And then little tap to the side bottom. And then going to ground to Moya, who's been subbed on the 19-year-old.
Moya on for Fogarty. He left the ground in the first quarter, went straight down to the rooms. Updates coming tonight. Koenig tried to grab it, slipped through his hands. Lord, Walsh, Doherty. Hewitt spun in the tackle, back to Walsh, feign the hand pass. Will McCreary gets after him. Dacos provides a bit of a bump, and there's some nice feeling between these two sides at the moment.
Doing a good job just to bottle them in here, though, Carlton. Force them long down the line.
So McCreary's kick to the congestion that's been diffused by Wiedering. Eddie Betts, what have you got for us?
Been confirmed, guys. Lockie Cowan, hamstring. So Ashton Moyer's on. He gets his opportunity to try to spend his spot.
Koenig just tries to paddle it to himself. Side bottom off the deck, progressed at about 30 metres. Membry and Wiedering scrap for it. Wiedering back to Silvani. His kick was hoping for Doherty. It was off the side of the boot. Side bottom, clever to Membry. Schultz runs himself into traffic. Got the handball away. Perryman was charging through. He progresses it forward. Membry and Wiedering meets, and Wiedering wins the battle in the end.
Been so much more proactive this quarter, Jacob Wiedering. Get caught deep. I reckon he was thinking he was going to be the back pivot point early on. We've seen him close up the ground. Just came in, and that was a critical impact there.
Cameron. Schultz, Haynes. Now Akers, tumbling ball towards the wing. Frampton. Clever back to Maynard. Shallow inside 50 entry. Schultz, really clean hands. Just missed Perryman on the way through. Got the overrun in Pendlebury. Scoops it out wider to Lipinski. Straightens, finds a bit of space. Lipinski across the face.
Skills in this wet weather are so important. Just got to make sure you hit your targets.
So Holland's happy to go for a gallop and then kicks it long. Frampton punched away by Young. Fogarty, kick from McGovern, smothered. Fogarty back to McGovern. Got a free kick, Fogarty, for a high tackle. McGovern was off with the prize, but there was no advantage, so called back. Fogarty out to Doherty, and then out to Hewitt. Hewitt spins around, assesses his options. Kicks it towards the pockets. Up they go, in from the side, Young and Kemp. And it's out of play eventually.
Well, they were waiting for Charlie Curnow to be the target, but he's on the bench at the moment. So they looked at each other and said, who's going for this? Sometimes you've got to play. You've got to make it your own. It was Young's ball, he had to launch.
David King, Jack Rewald, Eddie Betts, Brad Johnson alongside Matt Hill. Thursday night footy on Fox. De Koning, Maynard. Involved in the skirmish at quarter time. Elliott has a slight break on Williams. Tries to keep the break, paddles it through his legs. Membry, Williams wins out in the end, does it nicely. Perryman in best position. You can really see his teammate there, Cameron. Lipinski, Josh Dacos. The throw against Josh Dacos is going the way of Doherty.
1v5 there was. Doherty.
So there's no Curnow. They're going to have to be patient here and not bomb the ball back to Collingwood. TDK's pushing to the square.
Chera too far out to score. Kicks it long to fall forward. TDK slipped over at a crucial stage. And Cameron marks overheads. Quick offload to Quaynor. Quaynor's kick to the 50-50. Schultz at the front. The lead after he marked it. The umpire says, come with me.
Right off there.
So Schultz into the square. Entry inside 50 to Goey with 2 to beat. To the side, Crisp. Myercheck kept it in play. Only as far as Wiedering. Slammed off his chest to Goey. Throws him over the line. Umpire says throw it in.
Who's up?
Pendlebury's up to 14, as is Akers. Ned Long is the unused sub for the Pies. Cowan subbed out with that hamstring that Eddie was telling us about, which brings Moyer into the game. DeConing gets front position, tries to grab it out. Chera shrugs one tackle, back towards Hewitt, tries to sidestep. Elliott provides the pressure on Walsh, goes over the top. Perryman, don't argue McGovern. Squeezes it in only as far as Akers.
Just got to look forward here. Just got to look forward. Just got to take some territory in these conditions.
Haynes to Silvani. Doherty. Round 14, 1988 was that classic Silvani grab, of course. So Haynes in the back line. Kick hoping for Lords. Got a little bit off it, off the pack. McGovern grabbed by Elliott. All over him.
It's a risky game, that kicking game around the back half. You're making your forwards work side to side. Got to be so sure that it's the right option.
McStay, snaffled by side bottom, who went without it, had a fresh air shot, got a second chance. Long handball. Haynes the first to get there. Just disposes of Schultz. Lord flicks it back. No one in particular. Nick Dacos read it better. They cough it up again to Sard. And Sard's trundling ball towards half forward. Frampton couldn't mark it. Curnow harassing him. Goes to ground. Moore on hands and knees. Houston on hands and knees. Comes out to Maynard. Josh Dacos. Frampton as they work it off half back. They've coughed it up again. Chera.
Back to Chera. He's got Cripps inside 50. That was the target. Moyer bouncing ball. Howe sees it alone.
I just reckon the Carlton players could take maybe 1 or 2 more seconds when that ball is centre forward. Trying to force the option, allow it to open up, allow the forwards to get forward and create spaces.
Cripps has gone deep forward now. How the opponent.
On top of this goal scorer, Paddy Cripps, Lipinski. Can't exit the stoppage cleanly.
They need some support down there for Charlie Curnow at the moment. They just don't have that secondary winner in their forward line at the minute. Hopefully that's Patrick.
Stay Young. Fogarty high up and under ball. Maynard battles underneath it. Chris grabs off an opponent's boot. Frampton. Maynard, powerful tackle. Lipinski drags it back into the contest. Maynard still tearing it after the footy. Scooped out wide now. Pendlebury. Cripps, Moyer, goes off the ground. Across the face.
So Collingwood lead this quarter by a behind. Carlton haven't scored. It's been locked in 10-15 minutes, Kingy.
Yeah, tough conditions out there. It's hardly free-flowing. It's been same-sided and then stoppage work. Need some brilliance here to score.
Cameron wins it down. Maynard hands and knees. Crisp out to Josh Dacos, who's got plenty of air. And a bit of composure as well as his kickers long to a 2-on-1. Pies have the numbers. McStay onto the left boot. Good kick to half forward. Myercheck wrestling with Silvani. Tagoe sells some candy. Takes on another. Then takes on Silvani. Tries to take the ball off. Holding the ball.
That was an absolutely critical tackle there. Bobby Hill was the player out the back. Tagoe just wanted to burst through and give it out the back to Hill. But it was Doherty, Williams and Silvani that took down the big ball from Collingwood.
Silvani's the recipient of the free. Hollands, Williams, back to Hollands. Through centre half back. Williams is running out of room. Oh no, he's caught. He's got to let off.
Wow. You've got to reward that. The tackler had done all the hard work, tackled him legally. That is dropping the ball.
He's dropped it in.
So no free to Nick Dacos. Would have been 50 from home. Lord hassles his way through the pack. Doherty goes off the ground, uncomfortably so. Walsh gave to a teammate in white who had his back turned. Bobby Hill looking for the high tackle. It was there. Bobby Hill will have the shot.
Yeah, they weren't going to miss that one, the Magpie faithful. Tackle just slipped a fraction high.
5 goals this year for the Norm Smith medalist. Neither side has kicked a major in the term. Rain came at the start of the quarter, made conditions slippery, also a pretty stiff breeze across the MCG. Bobby Hill. From right on 50. Tugs are going for the extra yardage.
Just don't know whether that's the play from Sam Doherty going off the ground there under pressure. You just love to see him grab the ball and take the contest, whether it's just a ball up. You don't have to do anything special with it, but just making sure you don't have a loose ball like that out.
A little bit of remedial work on JD Elliott at the moment on the bench. Doherty's kick, looking for corridor. It had to be really accurate. Saad getting it from Williams. And Collins, Chera. Out to Will White. What an occasion for the young man.
Yeah, they've done this well from the back line. They've been patient, taken what Collingwood have given them.
White's kick to Kemp is out of play and out of bounds on the full.
And here's the one, Kingy, I think it's Kemp. You asked for support for Curnow. Kicked 5 last week, only 1 disposal so far in this game. Needs to find a way to support their key forward.
So he's coming back in the Collins' direction, but Lipinski was in the right spot. So it's less than 8 to go. What's been a fascinating first half. This second quarter really locked up as Myercheck leads out and takes it lace out.
That's 2 kicks there where the player looked to kick a little bit longer than they did, just pulled it at the last moment. Lovely delivery.
5 times leading goal kicker for Collingwood. Just outside 50. That's the angle he's got. It's going to land in the goal square and off hands. It's all square.
Well, it's a good contest. There's no doubt about that. It's very difficult to find an effective disposal out there. The Blues have started to find some uncontested marks down back and build the ball. Looking quite dangerous.
Blues haven't scored for the turn. They led by 3 points. Quarter time. 3 behinds for the Pies.
They haven't coughed up easy scores on the way out.
Silvani looks to pinpoint Cher. It's a beautiful 60-metre low flat drop punt. Saad immediately sat down by Schultz. Now Williams is trying to pick their way through the Collingwood defence at the moment. Too much on it. Falls out the back, wide overruns it, puts his head over the footy, as does Houston. Maynard throws his head back. It's hemmed in.
So they've only cost themselves 1 behind bringing the ball out of the back line, Carlton. So they've done it in a really measured, slow, methodical fashion, and it's worked.
Coney won it down and disposed of his opponent at the same time. A little bit of twister ensures, and another ball up.
Rux, Tom, Darcy backing out, guys.
Cameron moves it down. That ball not going anywhere, really. Umpire Nick Foot crosses himself.
Backing out. Oh, that meter. Oh, come on.
To Koning. Tap down. Chera. Rushed ball. Out the back. Curnow. Didn't quite kick up speed for it. Fogarty picks it up, slips over the crucial stage. Got it to Kemp. Eyes lit up. Kicked it too fat. Missed everything.
Had their opportunity there, Carlton. Kemp just caught the wrong side of the ball. Probably even had the ability to maybe take a couple of steps and really steady, but great contest there just to bring it to ground. Fogarty was the one that got onto it.
A great deal of flow to the game so far. Changing conditions, started dry, then wet, now dried out again. Bobby Hill arches the back, runs away from De Koning. Membry picks it up on the second attempt. Meyer check, McStay, they compete with each other. Haynes is playing a good game. Now Lord, Pendlebury immediately stymies his chance of moving away with the footy. Hewitt bustles in hard, Silvani will be under pressure. Here comes Membry again, affects the turnover. Lipinski floats the ball forward, or McStay should get a free. Silvani infringed.
It's their first kick from Williams coming out. The initial exit from D50 just missed, and that's the critical turnover.
Just lobbed it up there, Lipinski.
Yeah, it was a good kick in the end because it still favoured the forward. So he still had every right to go at that ball. Silvani was retreating and had to get absolutely everything right in the end. He takes the arms and clips the face. Just need a conversion here. Hasn't been a strong suit for the Pies this season.
There's a quick look at the time on the scoreboard, which is at 5 seconds. McStay, 4 goals for the season. And again, as you highlighted, King, conversion is an issue.
Yeah, 17th in the competition for conversion this year. I mean, they're a low percentage shot, 40 plus on an angle, but they've missed them from everywhere so far in the first 4 weeks.
McGovern and Cripps have just snuck on here for the Blues.
Oh, Williams' kick is long, but it's a mongrel punt and falls into the lap of Howe.
Kick just had to be so much better out of full back from Williams.
The side bottom lead. Ignores that, kicks to the pocket. In from the side was McStay. Eventually out in the harm's pocket, it's fair to say, between these two sides.
It's in the stalemate of a game. This is where you don't want to give up an easy free kick and give up a shot.
Shallow throw in, met by Cameron. Came out to Williams. How's this exit going to go? Bouncing ball, and then Curnow just manufactured something. Bobbles off the chest of Quaynor. Back to side bottom. Just with a little bit of composure, finds a man to go.
Well, they haven't got anything north to 30, Collingwood. Haven't scored from anything north to 30, so they haven't really challenged Carlton. They've been on top as a back six.
Another entry towards Meyer, check. Good kick.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the first one that's advantaged the forward close to goal. Clever play, clever kick. To go, he knew exactly what was required. Forwards kicking to forwards. The amount of times that's successful is quite frightening. Just have a look at him here. Good body, good work, just on the move. And just lost Haynes.
So this closer and almost directly in front compared to his previous kick. Ready, Meyer check. And slams it into the right goal post. So they'll be ruining some opportunities both sides.
And they will just don't want to. Oh! Geez, Houston has collected Fogarty there. That did not look good.
He's just come off the ground too, Fogarty. The doctors are having a look at the vision as we speak also.
Sard comes back across in defence. Wiedering.
Just look at Sard. I love this first half. He's just continuing to turn up for handball receives.
Now McGovern. Umpire nearly got in the middle of the play. Williams to Lord. That's a good ball all the way across laterally to Akers. Now Chera. They'll turn them round here, and it lands in the Hands to Kempy, dishes it off, didn't want the shot. Georgie Hewitt from 35 to the Blues fans. Finally, a goal in the second term.
Well, that's the blueprint. Carlton down to the back half have been brilliant tonight. Okay, they've turned a couple over late in this second term, but when they've found that first and second uncontested mark, they've changed the angles, they've shifted the ball through the corridor. I think Lord's been terrific. Some of his work and some of his dare across the ground here, and the handball game. I mean, we've been highlighting Carlton have been just missing that one handball, that forward handball. And in the end, it's what creates opportunity and excitement. They're rewarding the runner. Great to see.
Good finish there from Hewitt as well. Collingwood have had their opportunities in the last 5 minutes to hit the scoreboard. My check misses from 15 metres out. You got to go back and you got to hurt him when you get those opportunities. Hewitt does that.
Had 32 touches against Collingwood in the corresponding game last year, Hewitt. Cameron won it down. Pendlebury couldn't quite. Cripps and De Goey go at it. De Goey along the ground, won the football momentarily. Hollins goes in hard and rides the tackle.
About making the most of your opportunities. Here's that hit from Houston again. Or more. It's an elbow straight to the jaw.
Cripps and De Goey with a bit of pinball. Cripps, Hewitt getting involved. Out to Sard off the deck. Is it good enough though? Coming to meet at side bottom. He meets one or two and he's wrapped up and holding it.
Great first hit from Akers. Stopped him in his tracks. He's been far better tonight.
Walsh spreading it out to Akers. Akers with plenty of room. Young. As Akers running for him. Goes towards the pocket. He's looking for Moyer, cut up by Frampton.
Charlie Curnow just too far away from the ball there. He's at 70 metres at the moment. The ball's only going 55. He's just got to come up another 10.
Frampton, long clearing ball. Young encouraged back into the pack. Shane Warne, Stan. Side bottom bullets, a hand pass to Meyer, check McCreary, and the big quads of Wiedering just push him across the line. Brad Johnson, boundary side.
Yeah, Howard, the doctors have checked Lockie Fogarty, had a good chat to him and assessed him that he's all good to keep going. I'm sure they'll have another chat at half-time with only a minute 19 to go in this half.
How did you see the incident, John?
Houston's in a fair bit of trouble for what he just did.
Cripps sets Young a task trainer, does really well. Motlop uses him. There's a bit of body. John Ralph will update us that at half-time. There is Houston. Nice little hit to find De Goey. Nick Dacos is in the area. Pendlebury. Massage it. Just too much on it from McCreary. There's Wiedering, just comes in and hoovers the footy up again. Akers had plenty of the footy sent into a contest on the wing.
Yes, indeed. Out it comes. Kick towards Curnow. Punched away. De Goey. 38 seconds left in this first half. De Goey's kick towards Meyer. Check off hands. Elliott's in a foot race with Sard. Sard did a fresh airy. Schultz grabbed it, lost it. Then he kicked it straight into Akers. Williams gets the ball away. And out to Hewitt. 22 seconds left. Hewitt out towards Walsh. Walsh harassed out of it by Quaynor, but Walsh did really well. Held onto the footy to Coney. Was looking inboard, but he lost his footing. White's calling for it. Walsh still has it. Less than 10 seconds towards Houston. And that'll be just about it, I'd say. Out to side bottom. His kick along the wing towards McCreary. It's all too late. Fascinating first half at the G. It's Carlton by 4. 4-5 to 3-7.
Blues lead by 3 at quarter time. Tight term. Hewitt with the only kick. As far as a major concern, the Blues by 4 points at quarter time, Jack Rewalt.
What a frenetic finish to that second half. And it hasn't been the prettiest game of footy, but you can see the effort from both. So still a little bit of chat between the Collingwood and Carlton players, but it's in that contest when you've been able to, sides have been able to get it outside of that initial pressure, whether that be handball or kick, and break it open. They've been able to get forward and have a clear ball. And, well, for conditions downstairs in half-time, we've got Jono and Eddie.
are on, and everyone's vision is on Dan Houston at the moment with that big hit on Lockie Fogarty. How'd you see him hit?
Yeah, well, it was just the action, Jono. So the way that he came in and used his shoulder and connected with each other. So if we just see here in slow motion, bang, that's the action that we're trying to stamp out of the game. And I'll tell you what, Dan Houston's very lucky that Lockie Fogarty wasn't in strife and went down with a concussion.
He was assessed by the doctors, of course. They assessed that he was okay to sit on the bench to finish that quarter. They will have another check, obviously, at half-time with what we just witnessed. But it is on the leaders, I think, ending it at half-time, because we spoke about Weeder and Cripps and Curnow before the game. They're well and truly in this game. They're obviously 4 points up at the moment. It's been the second half fade-outs. They can't afford it. Their communication has to continue to stay strong.
Well, it's the messaging at half-time too. So, like, they've been in this situation now for the first 3 weeks. It's how they learn from it. They come out and they need a big second half, but it starts with those leaders.
It certainly does, Sarah. So it's going to be obviously a big half-time. The leaders for Carlton need to keep their communication high, keep their energy levels there, and keep this game style working.
Good call. Thank you very much, Jono. And you're so right about the second half fade-outs. The Carlton fans will be hoping and praying, Jason, that they can somehow muster some effort in this second half. They're very much right in this contest, obviously 4-point leaders at the half. And what's been a really low-scoring grind so far at the G?
Yeah, that's what's missing. Goals are missing. We'd love to see more goals, but it's been a really good arm wrestle. It's been tight. There's been plenty of pressure. A little bit of rain came, which made things a touch greasy, but it's just critical moments. Who's going to take them? It looked like Collingwood were getting on top, then the Blues bounced back, kicked a couple. So it's been fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of wills. It's going to be a contest game all night. I think that's how Carlton want it. Gives Carlton their best chance of winning this contest. But as Jason said, it's going to come down to moments. Which player or team can take some opportunities and just put a little bit of a margin on the scoreboard.
Joey, we're going to have a look at our Harvey Norman highlights, and it is a piece of Blues play, their ball movement that was quite eye-catching and resulted in a great goal to Hewitt. It has been something that perhaps they haven't been so strong at so far this year. It's an area for them to improve.
Well, there's been phases of it that have worked in this first half. You can clearly see a bit of an adjustment. They want to try and give that extra handball, reward the runner and play with a little bit of speed. And when it has come off, it's looked really good. So again, this first goal came off the back of turnover. They were able to get the ball like we showed pre-game, win it through the middle of the ground, and then they got the run and carry and overlap it and got some really good looks. And Jason, we saw a couple of times that they were prepared to bite off some kicks into the corridor, then reward the runner that came past and got some good looks.
Which made it exciting, didn't it? And we spoke to Michael Voss pre-game. He wants a little bit of boldness with the footy. Use that corridor when it's on. They changed hand passes when they needed to. Here's another one coming back into the corridor. Been impressed with the youngster too. Will White's been involved a couple of times, and he's been clean, which has been critically important when you're in these chains. Good slick hand pass there from Akers and a good hit up. You probably thought he'll go back and have the set shot. Hand pass to Hewitt, who's in good position. He kicks the goal. All of a sudden, the Blues, there's a different feel about them when they can move the ball like that.
It hasn't always worked. Sometimes it's heart and mouth stuff, and they're rolling the dice a little bit. But this is the way that they want to play, and as we saw, when it comes off, it looks good.
So the fact it is a stoppage game, David King, how pleased would Michael Voss be with that at the halfway mark?
Oh, he'd be happy. He wouldn't be thrilled with his defensive 50 stoppages again, Joey. I don't know how many times you've shown this about Carlton, but it's just simple things that fail them at critical moments. And again, it's the same names.
Yeah, that's it. So they're getting their hands on the footy. The clearance numbers are even. Carlton are winning first possession, but it's same old story. D50 stoppage. So this was a factor last week against the Western Bulldogs. They conceded 4 goals from their defensive 50, which was a separating factor. Last year, they were by far the worst team in the competition at conceding goals in their defensive 50 stoppage, and 2 of the 3 tonight have come from this. So this is just Blake Akers. So he's on Perryman, then he just switches off just momentarily, and that's all it takes when it's in your defensive 50. They're little lapses. It's not always the same players. Sometimes it's something different. Sometimes it's free kicks, but that's a little bit of attention to detail that can win and lose games.
Kingy, you put the question to Michael Voss about Sam Walsh and whether he should be demanding the ball more often. What have you seen tonight?
I think it all works for Carlton. When Walsh is involved, they're on the fly, and Jason and Joey have already talked about their ball movement, but he's the one that takes it from just a casual loaf through the middle of the ground to absolute flat-out speed. And the attention that he draws makes it easier for those around him. I've loved his game tonight, and it doesn't read as a Hall of Fame night for him. 17 touches, 2 score involvements, but it's allowed so much around him, Jason. I think it's opened up space for guys like Cooper Lord, who've looked terrific in space. He actually looks a bit like Sam, the way he moves, but I just think the way that they've attacked Collingwood with their legs has been terrific.
What it also does is when he plays like that, there's not so much pressure on Cripps to have to do everything. He's getting the load lightened.
The big question, though, they need to do it for another half. We've seen them do it in first halves, Jason. Can they continue?
That is the burning question at the halfway mark. Jace, the matchup between Curnow and Frampton, it leaves Darcy Moore to his own devices somewhat. Curno's kicked a goal.
It's interesting, you would have thought, and he's done it before, that Darcy Moore's the right athletic matchup for Charlie Curnow, but they've gone with Frampton. Joey, it hasn't always been necessarily by design. You think Lewis Young's making a concerted effort to get to Darcy Moore?
Yeah, watching it live here, particularly the start of the second quarter, it's Carlton's plan to get Lewis Young to go to Darcy Moore. And Collingwood...
Darcy Moore chooses
they
the
accept it.
That's exactly right. They don't have to accept it if they don't want to. He can still go to Charlie Curnow.
And just make it awkward for Carlton from that point
but
forward.
He's accepting that matchup to allow Lewis Young to go to him, and as you've called throughout the game, he could rip this one apart, Charlie.
Well, they went to him twice in the first quarter, Joe, and he kicked 1 goal, 1. They didn't go to him in the second quarter. No, 0 targets. The second quarter, I mean, that's a trump card you've got to use.
And it was probably the conditions and the way that quarter was played maybe made it hard. They didn't get much free-flow ball, but if they do get some free-flowing movement, Charlie is looking ominous.
And you can just see a little bit of confidence starting to come back into his game.
Joey, what about the Nick Dacos and George Hewitt matchup? Nick's 10 disposals, so perhaps not as many as we normally see him getting at the half, and Hewitt 16 and a goal.
Now Hewitt's winning that battle at half-time. We've seen little glimpses from Nick. He looked really dangerous the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, and you thought, oh, here we go again. But Hewitt's just done enough to quell him. I mean, the style of game, the way that it's been played, are very much a stoppage game and contest game, hasn't really allowed Nick to get into the flow. So Hewitt, all honours, and that goal late, Jason, was a big one.
It was massive, but they mixed it up a bit, the Blues, too. It looked like Cripps took him at stoppage a few times, put the bigger body on him and try and out-muscle him, which worked.
At centre bounces, which was fascinating to see. Nick was pulling back to make more space for a running start, and Cripper just wouldn't let him go. It was just a real test of wills. I think it's been a team tag. I mean, he's been tackled half a dozen times when he's about to break, when he's about to put some damage on the game.
3-7 to 4-5. The team who wins, Kingy, you imagine, is the team that maximises their chances.
Yeah, and a little bit of what you believe in. I'd like the guys' thoughts on this. Do you believe that you can continue to score like Collingwood have from forward 50 stoppages, or do you believe that Carlton can continue to score from almost full back?
Yeah, exactly right. It might not continue that way. It did feel late, though. Collingwood got some really good looks. Now, as you mentioned pre-game, they squandered some opportunities, but it still looks as if Collingwood have got more options forward of the ball. Jakes, they look a bit more classy and polished.
They do, but I like the way, if Carlton's defended really well, if they can continue to force turnovers and take intercepts, I like the way they're moving the ball. And I think that's probably caught Collingwood a little bit by surprise, and they're having a little bit of trouble defending it. So still up for grabs, but Joey hit the nail on the head. We've seen this every round thus far from Carlton. We need to see a decent second half.
John Ralph coming up with the blowtorch and an update on Dan Houston.
You're watching Thursday.
All right, folks, there we go. It's half-time at the football. And, of course, well, Carlton won that second term by 1 point. They kicked one straight goal. That's it, one straight goal. And the Magpies 5 behinds. Unfortunately, hit a poster on once. Tell you what, as we're saying, for my liking, it's a little bit of a scrappy game. But I'll say it again. Collingwood, you should be happy where you are at the moment, because I think Carlton really do look like they have been the better side so far in the opening half here of this match. Whereas Carlton 4-5-29 leading the Magpies 3-7-25. Carlton seem to be a little bit more, free-flowing with some of their play. And the Magpies, well, they're trying to, but Carlton's pressure is pretty good in this opening half. Their perceived pressure. Some of the stars there, Nick Dacos getting well tagged. So said he's only had 10 possessions, which is unlike him. So they're doing a great job on him so far. There we go. I tell you what, it's going to be interesting second half. Will Carlton continue this? Will they stop? Will they go forward? Can Collingwood get their act together, get the game on their term a little bit, start to get their game flow flowing, getting a little bit of run, opening up the forward line, because they have had trouble. They haven't really found any open space down there in their forward 50, whereas Carlton they do look a little bit better on occasions going into forward 50, creating a little bit of space. Branko, how you going? How you going, Squire? No, Collingwood will win. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for. Mark, g'day. Welcome in. Welcome in. So, look, my prediction still is the Magpies at this stage. I think they've had none of the game has really been on their terms, or have they had any momentum whatsoever. So I think they've got a lot to offer in the second term. Carlton, however, I mean, they didn't really have big momentum swing either. It's just been a battle. It's just been a grind, this game. As I said, who takes their opportunities is who's going to be in front. With Collingwood's 10 scoring shots, Carlton have only had 9 scoring shots, and Carlton in front, taking their chances. All right, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers. There's only one goal being added in that second term. And, of course, the goal scorers for Carlton, Oliver Hollands, I should say, George Hewitt, Charlie Curnow, and Paddy Cripps. They probably, with Charlie Curnow being a target up there a couple of times in an opening term, kicking 1-1, maybe he needs to be a little bit more of a target up there in the second half for them. For the Maggies, still the same goal scorers, Harry Perryman, Braden Maynard, Jordan, the Bull, the Goey. All right, let's have a look at the disposal count as we speak at the moment. Of course, Black Acres there, top of the table. He's having a good game there for the Blue Baggers. The top 4, all in the Blues. And as you see, Blake Acres, 19 with 8 kicks, 11 handballs, 3 marks, 5 tackles, 2 clearances. Having a good game. Sam Walsh, he's going pretty good as well with 17, 7 and 10. Adam Sard, as the crowd goes when he kicks the ball. There we go. 16 he's had, 14 and 2. He's had a clearance also. He's having a good game. Scotty Pendlebury, the best for the Pies with Dan Houston, both on 15. Doing all right. As you can see, Josh Dacos there on 14, working hard out of the back line. And, of course, Adam Kerr there on 13 there for the Blues. Tom De Koning, a little bit quieter in that second term. He's up to 12 disposals now, 15 hit-outs. So he's going not too bad. Lipinski there for the Maggies. He's on 10 with still side bottom. Nick Dacos down there. Unusual to see him down in the middle of the pack there. Just the 10 disposals. 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 2 tackles, and only the 2 clearances with the one behind there. Jack Silvani, a star for Carlton. He's just had the 9 touches. He was pretty good in the opening quarter. He'll have to bounce back a little bit as well come the second half. Sam Walsh has an average of 34 possessions a game against the Pies. Where is he now? Well, he's spot on that target. He's already had 17 up until half-time. So he's having a good game. And I'm sure if he's worked that form into half-time, he'll probably continue that into the second half as well. Paddy Cripps, a little bit quiet like Nick Dacos there. He's only had the 9 disposals, 6 kicks, 3 handballs. He's just had the 1 clearance. But he has kicked a sausage roll. Looking a little bit more for him out of the second half. Darcy Moore there just with a 5 for the Pies. And, of course, there we go. Brody Kemp just with a 3 for the Blues. Let's have a little bit of a look at the team stats since we didn't see those at quarter time. And, of course, there we go. What's that? 32-42. 51 disposals up. Carlton, 33% up there. Collingwood, well, you can have a look at their average, season average, 368. They're well under that. Whereas Carlton, well, they're a bit above average at the moment, doing well. 30 kicks ahead on for Carlton plus, and of course, Carlton linking up pretty well with the handball. Also 20 up there. Inside 50s, there we go. See, a bit of a scrappy game. They just need to try and open up their forward line for both teams. As I said, Carlton, I feel, have done that a little bit better in this opening term. 26 inside 50s for both teams, 10 and 9 scoring shots apiece. So everything pretty even about this game. It's just Carlton just a little bit more on top in the play at the moment. But only the 4 points on the scoreboard. Efficiency, well, disposal efficiency, it says Carlton are 70%. They're above average, but that 66% is probably a little bit low for their season average. So they'll want to lift that department up a little bit. And, of course, the Maggies, as you can see there, 64, well under their average at the moment. Free kicks, well, the umpires They do love Carlton. Look at that, 15 free kicks to Carlton, 6 to Collingwood. Come on, umpires, give us a fair go. Give us a fair go, umps. 16 to... what is it, 15 to 6? Oh, my gosh. There we go. Anyway, possibly the free kicks were there. Hit-outs, not much in that, is there? Just a couple +2 Carlton clearances, 21-20. Maggies by 1. The centre clearances, Maggies by 1 also. Stoppage clearances, all the same. They both got gun midfield, so they're both going to do a bit of damage. So don't worry about that. Contested possessions, yeah, not much in there. 9 there, but the uncontested possessions, look, Carlton are just controlling the ball far too easily for the Magpies. They're 44 plus in that. That's a big number at half time. There we go. Turnovers 32-36. Both teams coughing up easy ball. They just need to, as I said, they just need to, well, compose themselves, open some space, look for the leading targets. And, well, that also goes to say that both teams' backmen are putting reasonably good pressure on as well. 34-57, there we go. 23 +2, the Blue Baggers. Marks inside 50, however, only 3 to 4. And they're finding it hard today to get that target inside their forward 50. Contested marks, just the Blues by a couple. If we look at the tackle count, etc., like that, all pretty even. 42-39, 11 to 7 inside 50 tackles to the Pies, +4 at half time. But that's a bit of a wrap up of the stats. There we go at half time. But you know, I think look, I think there's a lot of improvement both sides can actually bring out in the second half. I think. As I said, it was a bit of a scrappy game. It was like an arm wrestle there. Back and forth a little bit. Inaccuracy in the kicking like that. Joe Joyce. Yeah, there we go. But, me being a Collingwood supporter, naturally, I think I'm pretty happy where they are at the moment. Even though they're trailing by 4 points there at half time, I think there's just so much improvement that can be done with the Magpies there. As I said, not much of the game going their way at the moment. They haven't really controlled the game at any point in this game so far. Their link up is not quite happening. They've got to maybe structure it a little bit differently, get Degoe back in the centre, change a few things up, and open that forward line up a little bit more, create a bit of space, even head back through the corridor, which they did so well in their winning game. So let's hope for the Magpie supporters they can start to get this game on their terms. But then again, for the Carlton supporters, let's hope you keep going. Let's hope Carlton don't give up like they have in the last quarter of the last few games and stop. Let's hope they keep charging as well. We love to see a close game here, folks, at the end. If it's within a kick, I tell you what, it's exciting by the end, and it could well just be that margin come the final siren, just a kick in it. But we are going to be back in just a moment, folks, because we're going to head back down to the bounce of the ball for the second half, where Carlton lead by 4 points here at the MCG. We'll be back in just a moment when the commentators are back. And here they are. All right, folks, let's head back down to the ground. We'll head in for the action, the third quarter.
Now led all 4 games at half-time, haven't won one yet. Second half scoring, averaging 22 points, ranked 18th in the competition. That will be the question, Jack Riewoldt and David King, whether the Blues can turn around their second half scoring woes. Can this man lead them to their first win of the year?
Yeah, minus 89 this year in second halves at Carlton Football Club. And that is the question that you come into. You know what you're going to get in the first half from the Carlton team, but can they stand up when the pressure turns in? I'm really looking forward to seeing how their leaders perform. Lee Matthews put it on the agenda on the couch. Can they stand up, David King?
They need to live from the little champ, Nick Dacos. Not often we say that. He's ranked 44th on the ground for ball use tonight. 44th. Can he respond in the second half and do enough to get his team over the line?
So after scrappy conditions in the second quarter, that rain has continued at half-time. Swirly breeze, light rain still falling at the MCG. Second half underway. Nick Dacos to side bottom. Just throws it on the boot towards centre half forward. Shot for the one-hander.
Well, that's how you respond, isn't it? Nick knows he hasn't had the first half that he desired, and then goes bang and wins the first centre bounce clearance.
24 goals last year.
Stay with him.
7th year in the AFL, second as a pie. It's directly in front, but he'll be kicking from on the chalk. Seltzer's kick's not going to make the distance. On the line, the fist from McStay. Membry got a kick away, ball still alive. Cripps under pressure, goes foraging for it. McStay is there. Wiedering diffuses the situation.
In a great second quarter, Jacob Wiedering clean there as well, picking that ball up. Was well held in the first quarter, but I reckon he pushed himself further up the ground to get more involved in the defence and offensive game.
Coney trying to use the body. Akers thought about kicking. He's concerned about the option. Side bottom. Centering balls to a dangerous area. Skips through the lot of everybody. Lipinski has got a metre on Motlop, only momentarily. Motlop puts it out in front of himself. Josh Dacos released it. Lipinski arrives again. Dacos looking for it. And in front of the Shane Warne stand, it's across the line.
Little things. That's a special effort there from Motlop. Get much reward on the stat sheet for that, but the team will love that. Fighting the fight, getting them a reset at stoppage.
Cameron to the front, through the fingertips. Free kick out of the ruck, though. Against DeConing for a push. That rain just getting a little bit heavier as well. Cameron pokes it towards the pocket. Terrible kick in the end and completely out of play.
It's fundamental footy now. It's got to get it to the top of the goal square. Your smalls have got to be active. If you're a defender, you cannot let the ball get out the back. It'll expose you.
Xiao's continuing to drift across the MCG. Enticing ball from the Blues, opens it up for the Pies. Dacos wrestled to the ground by Hewitt. In the end, he just places him on the turf.
It's a question Carlton have got to ask. Can they continue to play that short chipping game? That kick there from Doherty is drop mark. You just got to be careful that you don't give up an easy turnover.
Cripps, Perryman, Haynes, almost a fresh airy Hewitt.
It's a bit of a facsimile of the second quarter at the moment. It goes. Cameron, Dacos traps it with the one arm, was thrown to the ground. Play on is the call, and stacks on. So no one really winning at that time. It fell in the lap of DeConing and then holding the football. Something had to break the damn wall there. Let's have a look at this again. Dropping it off the tackle of Schultz.
I think he handballed it into Schultz, to be fair. He's a fraction unlucky there. The umpire was blindsided.
Schultz with the flyby to Houston. From outside 50, gives it a roost. And to the right.
Not 15. McGovern, Silvani, Motlop. Josh Dacos saw him and the footy across the line.
At the moment, any time that's mark taken forward from a Collingwood point of view, centre forward, Dan Houston is trying to get around the back. Carlton have been onto it. Just got to make sure they don't lapse.
Carlton kicked the first two. Since then, it's been tight all night. Going through, his hands open, saying, I'm not obstructing him. Nick Dacos, clean. Perryman on the spin. Haynes bounces off his chest. Side bottom went to keep it in, and the back heel in the end kept the foot in. Sard hoofs it, belts it, out on the foot.
They're just building pressure here. The Pies, 5 inside 50-0. They've won all 5 clearances for the term. Fast start from the mids.
Kick from Perryman. Back in the Elliott direction. He was the only man that flew in the end. Won the football. To Goey. He kicks 2. And Collingwood back in front. Well, it was at break point, wasn't it? And it was DeGoey who sent the forehand down the line.
It was Haynes that didn't go with Elliott in the air. Probably dropped the mark that he should have taken there, Jamie Elliott. But DeGoey was the one that got to the ground level in this original contest. You can see Elliott probably drops the mark he should take.
But it's the same thing, really, as what's happening at the other end. If you can get Wiedering out of the way, there's opportunity to score. No one goes. Haynes stands back and watches. Elliott should have taken the mark, but you can see Wiedering in the square. He's occupied. It's exactly what they're doing to Darcy Moore at the other end. Great finish, Jordan DeGoey.
Pies' first goal since DeGoey's first late in the opening term. And they take back the advantage. Good out of the middle. Nick Dacos, touch of class. Showed Candy and then zoomed away from his opponent. Pendlebury edges it forward. In a little hole. Shooks has been in everything.
He had to go then, Doherty. Sorry, but he had to go. He had to take the body. He had to take the trauma that comes with that. He doesn't. They take a chest mark inside forward 50. Now, that's harsh, but that's the reality. This little man is lifted, number 35, and when he's on the move, he's at his best. Forward handballs are so dangerous in the game of late, but Doherty, he had to go. He had to crash that pack.
And a couple of opportunities tonight without success. Lockie Schultz to give the Pies some momentum. Does just that. 2 in a row for Collingwood.
This is the challenge for Carlton now. Cripps has only had 9 disposals so far in this game. He's the one that needs to stand up in the middle.
Yeah, so
the little master, look at him.
They've lost 6 clearances in a row, or Collingwood have won 6, whichever way you want to look at it. But this is a moment where you need one of your leaders to stand up, and Doherty failed the test. Now, we're not going to go too hard at this, but there are moments that are going to separate this game. Michael Voss has talked about them losing the small moments over the last 3 weeks. Well, there's another one there. Need to respond to Carlton mids. Highs are flying.
Blues with their backs against the wall. Third quarter at the G. DeGoey wins it to Cripps. Cripps can't quite control it. Off the deck in the wet conditions. Only as far as Houston. Trembles it forward about 25 metres. Off the deck side, it's good enough. Doherty. So Doherty called to play on. It's wide, but it's in the hands of White.
He has to go short here to Curnow if he can. He's going to tick lead back.
The exuberance of youth as he kicks it towards the pocket in the Moyer direction. Youngsters working together. To ground it goes. Maynard, Crisp, Moore, Quaynor kept it in. Fights for it now. He's got 2 or 3 to beat. Goes to ground and locks it up.
He's got to find a little bit more connection there. That long bomb inside 50, really deep. Doesn't give you many scoring options unless you mark it if you're Carlton.
So they've won 7 clearances in a row, Collingwood. What do you do, Jack? Do you challenge the troops if you're Michael Voss, or do you change the magnets?
Nah, challenge the troops. Your best players are in there. The Koning and Cripps.
Collingwood +6 inside 50s. Nick Dacos starting to really turn her on to his brother and his Farasad. He wanted to play on immediately. Here's Curnow, Moore. The help arrives and Lipinski to make it a 2-on-1. Curnow keeps his feet, runs into trouble. Not sure how he got rid of that. And now Nick Dacos away, takes advantage. You want the 1-2. Pendlebury puts it out in front of him. This time Doherty used some body. Hot ball in the middle, important one. Doherty sends it deep. Couple of pies there, Moore and Cameron.
Cameron has Crisp screaming for it. Receives it at half back. He's got Josh Dacos running with him. Goes lateral to Maynard. Back to Josh Dacos. Crisp again yelling for it in isolation in front of the dugout, but no one really to kick it to. So he heads in that direction, a swarm of players.
Oh, wrong hands.
Meyer check. When he's on, he's fantastic to watch in the air. So just probing it around. Crisp. He's got Josh Dacos short. He's going to go long. There's about 8 of them that'll go up here. No one takes the mark. Meyer check backing up. Couldn't quite grab the football. Houston goes in and locked up.
Oh, this is the challenge again. Forward 50 stoppage, as you can see here. Good hit on Dacos. All square there. Nothing to see. Can they get the job done here, the Blues?
Akers runs out of room. Williams. Nick Dacos. Hill. Boundary. Blues by 3 at quarter time, 4 at half time. Collingwood with the only 2 of the term. To go, he's second. Schultz is first. 9 points to the good, the Pies. Koenig buffeted away from it. Hewitt. Williams. Tries to gain maximum distance out of defence. Maynard. Now Will White. Had a nice impact in his first game, and he's turned it over straight to Moore, who was waiting and accepting of the share, and gets 50. Kemp's arguing he needs to quieten down here and get another 50. Darcy Moore, we don't see him line up too regularly.
Stood a metre over the mark there. Kemp came in from the side.
And this would be huge. Houston lingering, loitering, ready to get the handball received, but Darcy says, no, I'm the man.
Premiership in his first year as skipper. Another famous father-son. 67 career goals, this for 3 in a row. And Collingwood really starting to press. Drifts out to the right. Throws those hands out as is his way. And hooks it going for distance.
Plus their forward structure here a little bit more. Carlton at the moment. Get back to the controlling the ball.
So McGovern in 2 minds there. Short to Williams, and now he's in a little bit of strife. Leaves D50 to a 50-50. Off hands. Schultz, Pendlebury. Hand pass to Nick Dacos. And then spots Membry out wide. Membry round the corner for more Collingwood momentum. Bounces through. Dagger into the heart stuff that.
Well, it's just obvious to see that when your best ball users don't have the ball, you bleed. Walsh is yet to touch him in the third quarter. They want to get the ball in the hands of Ollie Hollands. He hasn't touched it. Charlie Curnow can't find it in the forward half. Patrick Cripps has had the one at clearance, but and the back half. If Saad doesn't have it and Walsh doesn't get it on counter punch, they don't get it out of there. This is awesome from Collingwood. Just knocking the ball in, Jack, building pressure. Repeat inside 50 after repeat.
Jack, we heard the stats that Carlton had led at half-time every game and with a number 18 ranked team for scoring in second halves. Is it in your mind as a player when this starts happening?
100% it is. 100% it is, and you want to get that first one. They've given up the first 3. They have to throw a punch back now from the Carlton point of view.
And 3 on the trot. Concerns here for the Blues. Who can lift? Hewitt's gone in the middle. Cripps always at a standard. There is Hewitt, the former Swan. Doesn't make much purchase on the right boot. Too easy for Houston. Coming off the line, marking at half back.
So Darcy Moore is doing the job now on Charlie Cameron. And he just Curnow, he just held him out of that marking situation.
Josh Dacos spreads it wide. Lipinski had plenty of time. Finds Pendlebury. They just slowly build it up. Blues trying to lock it down at the back of the football. Kicks wide out to Lipinski. His kick inside 50. Was looking for Membry, but cutting through Perryman. The former Giant. Little bit of party time.
I don't know if the kick was designed to go to Perryman there, but he stuck the one juke out. This is what happens when you start to get momentum. things fall into your favour. Oh, nice little grab there.
Free agent at the end of 2024. How things can turn for a footballer on the big stage. Kicks from just inside 50. What a bad-looking effort to the left.
Starting to see what an experienced team looks like. Everyone talks about how old Collingwood are. They know what's required in every situation. You can see the organisation, particularly behind the ball now, bulletproof. Making it very difficult for Carlton to move the ball at all.
David King, Jack Rewald take you into the middle of the MCG on Fox Footy on a Thursday night. Blues led by 4 points at half-time. They've given up the opening 3. And under serious pressure now, Hollands. Who can stand up for Carlton? Goes very short. He's turned it straight over. Everything's going wrong at the moment for the Blues. The big frame of Myercheck arrives. Maynard's telling him, send it home. This to make it 4 in a row.
This is the risk with these sort of possessions. You look and try and be creative, force something, but if it's not there, it's not worth forcing, especially in these conditions.
Injury concerns in the second half of last season. Myercheck, great to see him back out there. From on 50, it'll take something long and straight. That's what he gets. Touched right on the line. Let's have a listen to the umpires.
Leaders behind confirm it was touched on the goal line.
Score review. Umpire's call is touch from behind.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we see the ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Nice quick review.
This is awesome from a defensive point of view. If you're a Collingwood fan, just watching them set up this grid, the instruction, everyone's pointing, they're moving their counterparts around and not giving Carlton anything easy.
Spot on, Kingy. It's evident at ground level, and that's why their pressure's gone over 200. Blues going at 146 off half-time.
So Williams forced to kick it really long. Big fist McStay. Doherty off his shoelaces to Lord. Has to get rid of it quickly. He does. Walsh is there over the football. Clever tap along the ground, though. Josh Dacos for the Pies to side bottom. Round the corner. Spots Pendlebury. Flicks it to McStay. That's elite in these conditions. Kicks a wobbly one towards Elliott. Membry again. And just misses. They are putting their foot down now.
He got another 100 games left in him, Pendlebury. He's just outsmarting everyone out there. That handball was just terrific. Kept the flow of play. They're under siege, this Carlton back 6.
That was ridiculous, Kingy. That was right in front of us. What he just did in these conditions was amazing.
Holding free kick. That'll see him out at 507 games then, Kingy.
I think Boomer's in trouble.
Curnow. Can he lift his side? Likes to drop it down the line. Howe gets rid of Kemp. Falls to ground. Walsh. Back in board to Young. They're giving up territory now. Back to Curnow. Takes a little bounce. Really didn't come back to him. High entry. Tough one for the forwards. Moore's in good position. Maynard will have scored it.
So if you're Michael Voss, do you get the message out to say, let's start to play more of a stoppage game? Maybe they are better off just kicking it long down the line at the moment and getting numbers at the contest, being predictable and just slowly marching their way up.
So Young wins it down. Fogarty takes on 2 or 3. It's in the danger zone. Curnow's there. Moyer's there and eventually trundles over.
Problem is they've lost 8 of the last 10 clearances. Collingwood have just taken complete control in the middle of the ground, and it's been the little champ, Nick Dacos.
And he won 2 of their last 12 starts, Carl, and that's unusual from Howe. Young was on the ground and he just pushed it forward.
So even look at that last contest there, it's one Carlton player with 5 Collingwood players around him.
Cameron's confident enough to grab it out of the ruck, doesn't get much purchase on the kick. Hewitt. Perryman.
It's little things like Perryman there, full-chested at the ball. In these conditions, take the ball forward. If you don't take it clean, you can follow up
Cameron again just pushes his opponent out of the ruck contest.
Tom DeConing standing on the boundary at the moment. You just need to get him on.
That rain getting heavier. Throw in. Cameron and Young.
Hewitt, Cripps, Akers, back to Hewitt. Sends a 60-metre ball forward to the flank. Frampton and more compete. Frampton brings it down. Umpire says play on. Houston, little check side round the corner. Nick Dacos got a shove. Accesses the middle of the MCG immediately, funnily enough, once again to his brother, Josh, waxing the two. Rain as heavy it's been all night. Back to Pendlebury, coming up to possession 21, Scott Pendlebury. Elliott Sard gets off his man. Can he spark the Blues? Give them some run.
It's been a good Sard tonight. He's the one from behind the ball if they want to get run.
So Sard. Long ball. Curno's going to get involved here. No mark taken. Side bottom. Inboard he goes. Josh Dacos. Howe wants to kick it long. It's a long penetrating kick. Hill just paddles it to himself. Can he do something clever? Swings around. Has some assistance from Elliott. Centering ball. Up they go. Schultz is there. He's the last man standing and bangs it through for his second.
Just exposing them all over the ground at the moment, the Collingwood Football Club. They're really controlling the centre of the ground. The ability to bring it back in. Bobby Hill here. Front and centre. Eddie Betts would love him. Bit of a mung back in here as well, but just got to be in the right spot at the right time. Great team play here from Jamie Elliott as well. Potentially in his right to have a shot, but put it to a spot like this in tricky conditions. You play the percentages and the percentages pay off.
How much fire they got left in them, the Blues? This is a mauling this third quarter.
Put Motlop in the middle trying to get some speed around the ball.
A point for the Blues for the term. Kaiser kicked 4. They need to answer. Here's an opportunity. Fogarty. Cranor just got an important touch in. Motlop. Josh Dacos sends it back by hand. Lord. His first AFL goal. Somehow they repel straight into side bottom. Wet, slippery conditions. Fogarty overruns it. Has a second go. Loops the ball forward. Here comes Charlie running out at it. Motlop. Good around the sticks. Houston grabs him. No joy for the Blues.
They need to get the next goal, Carlton, to remain in this game. Have to throw a punch before three-quarter time.
Sheeting rain here at the moment. Cameron wins it down. Spat out to Akers. Side bottom. Handball out towards Quaynor. In a battle with Williams and eventually out. So how do they manufacture a goal here, boys?
Just got to get something going from stoppage. I've been smacked in this third quarter from it. Maybe it's a grab out of the ruck and just handball it forward onto a runner.
To Koenig at the back. Collingwood narrowly win it down. Sard goes in with the body. On the ground, Quaynor tackled. Elliott hot handball to Pinsky. Out to Josh Dacos. Good awareness out to Schultz. Labour intensive, but they did it well. Check side kick. McStay went the fist. Myercheck is hovering. Hollands went without it. DeGoey kicks the football towards Hill. What about that transferal of the football?
That's what we're talking about. Perriman goes full chest of the ball and at worst keeps it in front of him. He doesn't take it clean. Holland's not sure whether to attack it, wait for the bounce. In the end, gets clean bowled. They're just bullying him now.
So the shot clock down to 5 seconds for Bobby Hill, who's going to take his full time. Goalless so far tonight. It never looked likely.
Ned Long, the unused sub for the Pies. Moyer came in with Cowan with a hamstring issue in the second term. Looking for some run, the Blues. Again, it's to a contested situation. Hollins puts his frame in, tries to get something happening. Chera's got no room to operate.
It's like they're trying to force it at the moment, Carlton. Force that ball out of their back half.
It's the exact term the coach used midweek, Jack. They're just trying to force things at certain stages. Incorrect disposal against Hewitt. It's another opportunity. Pinsky was a wide option. Unusual kick now, looking for Lipinski late. The moment had probably passed.
It's just that fine balance of being really aggressive, because all of a sudden the scoreboard's at a favour for you, and the risk of not giving up something that's going to cost you back the other way.
So patted down. Saad to Doherty. Touched off the boot, straight up in the air. Lipinski got it down to Nick Dacos, who just went without it. It's pretty slippery out there now. That rain subsiding slightly. It's still light rain, though. Enough to be annoying. Of course, Richard Pratt medal up for grabs tonight for the best on ground. Side bottom got it to Lipinski, handballs it to himself. Hewitt comes through and out.
Collingwood looking well drilled, happy to take it. Back out of bounds, reset again. Been good from forward stoppage tonight.
Hewitt belts it out of defence. Kemp put a shoulder over Darcy Moore. Another inside 50 coming up.
That'll be number 17 for the quarter.
Really pressing here, the Pies. To a contest, to Koning! Big presence, good grab.
Well, it's his first disposal for the third term. Crying out for the big man. He's been so good in the first 3 weeks of footy.
Doesn't make it easy for Chero. There's just no exits out of defence at the moment.
From a defensive point of view, this is awesome, what we're seeing from Collingwood. We know what they can do with the ball, but sometimes this is what the coaching staff, Craig McRae, would absolutely be thrilled with what he's seeing here. The organisation from this senior core.
To Koning. Taps it down. Pendlebury's there, though. Just coughs up the handball to Chera. Then quick one from Cripps, off and out.
So, Kingy, how are they setting up defensively, Collingwood, to keep hemming the ball in there?
Yeah, they're just guarding the dangerous space. You saw Darcy Moore get a free kick a moment ago. There's nowhere to go. The Blues look up. There's no easy exits. They just shut everything down.
To Koning, again to Pendlebury. Round the corner he goes. Meyer, chair, couldn't quite that time. Hewitt back to Doherty. And his kick just set up in the breeze and coming through to take it really well. Cameron slipping over Pendlebury in front of him. So they're just under a tight squeeze, the Blues here, as Cameron's kick's flirting with the line, and in fact it's just been marked by Doherty. So it's fair to say it's not riveting stuff. Eddie Betts and Brad Johnson have the ponchos on. How are those conditions, boys, down there?
Oh, Hilly, they're challenging conditions. The Pies have been clean this quarter. That's the difference. The fumbles from the Blues, but the stars for the Pies have been really clean and pushed the ball forward nicely.
Koenig trying to lift his side. Kemp arrives late. Motlop takes it on himself. Nearly taken off the football. Nick Dacos, Frampton, side bottom. Squeezed one out to Cameron, and again they've got the answers. Collingwood dominating possession this term as well.
That's just the difference there. Side bottom, just a measured head. You spoke about an old side, but they are experienced. Exactly what David King spoke about.
Average age is the oldest team ever put out in the park in VFL AFL history tonight, the Pies.
He's had one player with less than 50 games experience, so they made him sell. 17 players with more than 100 games experience. Collingwood tonight. Carlton have got 7.
Collingwood leading the quarter 4-6 to 1 behind. De Koning snatched away by Cameron, who just dumps a kick. Wasn't the required trip anyway. McStay couldn't trap it and eventually out.
Just the clearance work. This is what I've marvelled at tonight, particularly this third quarter. We wonder where Nick Dacos was at. Is he an inside mid? Is he a true contested ball winner, or is he better on the outside? But 13-5 in this term alone, Cameron has taken control.
So down towards side bottom, scoops it forward. Doherty kicks smothered off the body of Pendlebury. Terror, and retreats in the end with 25 seconds to go, third term.
Collingwood to be wrapped with this. Just the ability to hold the ball in. No chance for Carlton to score here. That's going to stoppage after stoppage. Bring on the three-quarter time siren.
De Koning gets elevation on Cameron. Lifted in the last few moments. Walsh, Doherty. Sends it back inside. Darcy Moore, another intercept mark. Starting to really have an impact now, the skipper. Coming up for possession 11. They need to take a mark here. The Pies. Silvani gets off Myercheck. Membry. Big turn for the Pies. The Blues have had problems in second halves all year. They've given up 4 goals to 0. They lead it by 25 points. Pendlebury up to 23 disposals. Josh Dacos has had 24. Nick Dacos lifted. But the Blues are now under the blowtorch. The coach, Michael Voss, can he inspire them? So many great games between these two sides. Can Carlton write some history and come back from 25 points down? Three-quarter time here at a wet MCG. The Pies lead the Blues by that margin of 25 points right here on Thursday Night Footy on Fox.
You're watching Thursday Night.
All right, folks, there we go. 29-point turnaround of the mighty Magpies, as we're saying at half-time. The Pies had none of that first half going their way or any play at all. It was Carlton mainly, but the Pies certainly got that back on terms in the third quarter, kicking 4 goals, 6. The Blue Baggers just one behind. Carlton fans, it was like there was no running the legs there in that third term. The pressure was down, the run was down, everything was down. They need to lift in that final term if they can. We know the final term, Carlton don't normally score. So that is all looking good for the Pies, which, well, they got a little bit of that run going. Of course, with the lesser pressure of Carlton, and things just seem to open up for the Magpies reasonably well there. From a few minutes in, they just, they pretty much dominated that third quarter. The premiership quarter, as they call it, folks. It's the Pies, 7-13-55, leading the Blue Baggers 4-6-30. 25-point leaders here at three-quarter time. Unless Voss gives them a quarter bag of Lou. Read the Blues ain't doing anything. You know what? I'll tell you what. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see the response at the final quarter from Carlton. I'll tell you what. They need to respond a little bit more than they did in that third term, because that third term was abysmal by Carlton. Well, let's go over and we'll go and check some of the goal scorers, because there was a few more put on there. And as we can see, we've got a couple of multiple goal scorers there for the Maggies. Lockie Schultz, Jordan De Goey, both with 2 for the Pies. Harry Perryman, Tim Membry, Braden Maynard, single goal scorers there for the Pies. For Carlton, unchanged, Oliver Hollins, George Hewitt, Charlie Curnow and Paddy Cripps. They're the single goal scorers there for Carlton. First goal, final quarter, would be good. Be good for the Pies. I think, you know what, 25 points, I think that could be just a margin. Even I think could be too much because the rain was starting to come down reasonably heavy. The ball is now slippery and wet. You just sort of got to bang it long. You got to get it down top of the square, and hopefully your smalls can do their job. There we go, top on the table. One each of two teams now. Josh Dacos, breakout quarter in the third term, 24 touches, 12 and 12. 4 marks a tackle. Black Acres there, 24. 8 kicks, 16 handballs. 3 marks, 5 tackles, 3 clearances. A good game. The old boy, Scotty Pendlebury, I tell you what, he still bamboozles them out on the ground. The old boy, I tell you what, I hope he plays for another couple of years for the Pies. He certainly should. He certainly could. All fans hoping he will. George Hewitt, 22. Sam Doherty, 22, still going all right. Adam Sard always gives his best there for the Blues. He's up to 21. He's having a good game. Dan Houston on 19. Sam Walsh on 20. I think he only had the 3 touches in that third term, so he really dropped off as well. There we go. Harry Perryman up to 16. 1 goal, 1 so far. Schultz had a good quarter in that second one. 14 touches, 8 and 6. He's kicked 2 goals now. Got a beautiful kick over. Fell into his lap. Yeah, let's just see. You remember that, I'm just trying to figure out. Dropped the ball nicely to him. I just can't see him there. That's all right. I'll think of it. I'll think of it when it comes. Jamie Elliott. That's all right. Put a snap over the head. And Schultz, he took the mark, ran into an open goal, put the Pies, gave him a little bit of fire. Jesse Motlop only with 8. Charlie Curnow, been quiet after quarter time. Still just the 8 disposals, 1 goal, 1. Jordan Ngoe, he looked a little bit better. Still quiet for his, for his brilliance. He just still had the 7 touches, but he's kicked 2 goals now. So that's all going well. Or we'll come back to a few more stats after the game because, folks, we are only not too far away from the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. We're about 25 seconds away, and it should be an absolute ripper. Perriman and Schultz both had good. They certainly did have both good third terms. Absolute cracker. I think Schultz has been pretty good all game. I think he's been in and around it. He's been giving it his best. All right, well, that's enough from me. Let's get back down to the commentators, and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the final quarter, where it's the Magpies by 25.
I think it has to take more than that, but he has to lead the way. It's only had 13 disposals, 1 tackle and 1 clearance for the game. In this weather, this is built for Patrick Cripps, but you're right, he can't do it himself, but he needs a big last quarter for the Blues to have any chance of winning this game.
They have to be clean in this quarter, the Blues.
Well, difficult conditions to be clean as the rain continues to tumble. Breezy conditions. So Collingwood, who dominated that third term, coming in with all of the momentum. Jordan Ngoe on the bench at the moment as the umpires just wait for the right time to bounce the football and get underway. So to kick off the final term, it is Cameron and Kokoning to lock horns. Favours Cameron, won it down. Nick Dacos using his feet. Walsh going in, trying to pick it off the floor. Scooped it to Cripps. Bobbles up to Nick Dacos. Wobbly one towards centre half forward. Silvani. If there's ever going to be a name in a Collingwood match to lift his squad, it's Silvani. Kick down the corridor. Maynard in the front spot. Was infringed, pushing the back. Goes wide. Side bottom. There's plenty of room to move. Kick towards the 50. Membry, a fly. No Mark McGovern out the back, Wiedering. Sard under pressure. Elliott's got him. Got rid of it. Membry, he gets rid of it by boot. Wiedering just stops the rot with a thumping ball out towards the wing. Bouncing football. Kemp with the fist. Back to Moore. Inboard Cameron. Pendlebury, then his handball too hot for Moore, has to go gathering after it. Josh Dacos is there for support. His kick towards Maynard, fisted away. It's up against the boundary line, still in play. Membry kept it in. Maynard scooped it back to side bottom. They've done well to keep it in play. And now it's locked up.
So Adam's hard there, just limping after that big tackle from Jamie Elliott. Certainly one player that only going down is the one with speed off the half-back flank.
DeConey, Hewitt tries to get away from side bottom. Motlop overruns a half volley. Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, Nick Dacos, caught. Good tackle. Oh, gee, hangs it up. He's turned it straight over. It was Kemp that gave it straight to Myercheck. Could hurt them back the other way. McCreary. Crisp has to wait and wait and wait. Now squeezes it inside. Myercheck comes back with a flight. Lipinski overruns it. McCreary. Long just on the ground for Degoe. First touch, check side long. What a start to his night. In the pouring rain at the MCG. The Pies are dominating the Blues.
Just errors. It's as simple as that. Kemp brings it back, he chips it back into the corridor. It's just scant regard for the Collingwood forwards who are going to roll up immediately. This is a quality finish. They're just working harder. They're well connected. They know what each player's about to do. They're working in and out of space at the right times. And Ned Long was just in the right spot. He's the end of the chain. Simple as that. Collingwood have put Carlton under that much pressure down back. They've almost thrown the white towel. They just don't have the skill level to compete at the moment behind the ball. It's a handy finish, Jack.
Oh, nice little check side.
DeConey to Walsh, kick smothered by Nick Dacos. Hurried kick from Williams towards centre half forward. Hard conditions here. Fogarty just dumps it forward. Moore hit the ball hard. Wanted it more. And then kicks towards the wing in the Nick Dacos direction. Pats it down to McCreary. Inboard hand pass. Lipinski. A long one to Nick Dacos, who then just tries to fiddle it out towards Membry, who couldn't quite control it in the conditions. Bobbled out to Hewitt. So Carlton can repel for now through the legs of DeConey. Nothing going right. Pendlebury, Houston, back to Nick Dacos, towards half forward, centering ball, Myercheck. It was a brilliant kick, it just filled the slot, and Myercheck took it on his chest.
It was a great kick. It was a great kick. He just knew exactly what he wanted to do. He had time to have a look. I think most players here would kick his skinny down and kick it close to the pocket. He just pulled it into the right spot. And it just fell on Myercheck's chest.
Five-time winning goal kicker for the Pies comes in from about 40. And shanks it.
Sure, I've seen a better kick in the wet. Cross your body, pull it back to a leading forward, and give no other defender a play at the ball. Look, that is an amazing kick. He's really had some sort of second half, Nick Dacos.
37 points to 1 since half-time. The way of the Pies, the last 5 of the match. Doherty in tough wet conditions at the G. Howe down to Maynard. Now side bottom. Little scrubbing kick. Schultz has been really good tonight. Had a great third term. Paddled forward. Walsh didn't want to take possession. Comes back a second time long.
Just workmanlike here from Collingwood. They're doing everything right at the moment. More numbers in the TV screen. Fantastic work rate. Clinical.
Out the back, Houston just decides to kick it off the deck. In these conditions, it's perfect. Myercheck off to the side. Elliott picks it up along the boundary and happy to let it go.
Just Cameron's done a job on DeConey tonight. Destroyed him in the ruck. Broken his will. He's been enormous the first 3 weeks, as Big Tom. Cameron's taken the honours tonight.
Michael Voss continuing to search for answers on the bench. He's been down there all night. Williams kick off the deck. Moore overran it. Houston's kick towards Elliott, who just couldn't quite control it. Who can win the football here? Hewitt came off the bonds of Perryman. Long tap by Elliott to McGovern. It's not pretty. Cripps out to Walsh. And then Walsh's dumping kick towards the wing. Curno's there. Frampton got a hand to it. Moore dives in. Frampton standing start. Handball. Perryman's kick. Meyer check just a bit late to the party. Then off the grounds. As good as any. That was from Schultz and offline.
The big worry for Carlton at the moment is they just can't get it over halfway.
And on the other side of that too, Jack, is the fact every spoil of Collingwood is going boundary side, so their small and mid defenders and wingers know exactly where to run to clean the contest up.
Brad Johnson on the boundary with Eddie Betts. 15 disposals, 2 goals, 1 tonight for Schultz. Josh Dacos. More danger for the Blues. Good wrestle. Akers has got Silvani.
So I think the call's got to come. The short kicks for Carlton aren't working now. So maybe the long kicks have got to sort of go centre of the square. Use the square as you open up both sides of your offence to maybe try and throw a different punch at Collingwood.
Doherty evades the Nick Dacos tackle. Spiralling ball out of defence. Frampton, Moore, 2 hands on it. Cripps.
But again, you see, as soon as there's a spilt ball, the numbers arrive with the stripes. They're just getting there quicker.
Cameron goes himself, gets one high. Short out to Josh Dacos. He's able to keep his footing pretty cleverly in the end. Now towards Perryman. Barely the required distance, but paid. Perryman, a searching ball towards the pocket. Myercheck at the front. Down to Schultz with the crumbs. Walsh trying to break out of the congestion. Wiedering out to side bottom. Trying to bring it back inside 50 through the help of Josh Dacos, but the line beat them both.
Crumb there by Lockie Schultz. Just a good example of getting to the front. He just looks dynamic every time he gets to the ball. The 9 score involvements tonight. He's starting to really find his way as a Collingwood player.
DeConey through his hand. Cripps. Nick Dacos, clean, nice spin. McCreary, they're lining up again here. The Pies, Maynard, sharp hand pass, just away from Long. Williams bursts out of centre, back, just gets away from Perryman, puts it to a dangerous area. Here's some run, we haven't seen it all night for the Blues. Motlop sends one further wide. Floating forward, just through the hands of the debutant. Nearly brought her in there, Will White, now stacks on.
Oh, some relief for the Carlton back 6. 27-9 inside 50s in the second half. Hardly been cited in the Carlton forward 50.
Dakota tried to catch it out. Came out to Doherty. And it's going to be a free kick to Carlton throw against Nick Dacos.
It looked like that was there. If anyone could get away with it, though, it would be Dacos. He could handball that.
Hewitt looking for his second. George Hewitt comes in, slide angle, and to the left.
Let's see if Carlton can do the same and lock the ball in here. Collingwood Super organised. Is going to take the long one.
Just their second point in the second half for the Blues. They've had all sorts of problems scoring in second halves of every match this season.
Just look so well balanced around whether it's a long kick like that or whether it's a stoppage like this. They've just got really good balance so they can either win the ball and come out any direction or put pressure on too.
Crisp into space. Bobby Hill didn't quite get the bounce of the ball. McGovern, Chera, right foot ball forward. Houston in good position, fisted away only as far as Hollands, falls to his knees. Akers, hurried, wobbling ball forward.
Collingwood players are appealing for insufficient intent.
He's stiff to pay that.
So uncontested McStay. Handball to no one in particular. Chera, but before that, Hollands is going to get a free kick for holding against Hill. So they've been granted a couple of opportunities here, thanks to the umpire's whistle, Carlton. Oliver's already kicked one tonight. This is going to test him. Heavy football, well outside 50. Gives it everything he's got. It's going to be a good effort, but in the end, touched on the line by McStay, but they'll review it.
Well, he was behind it. We'll make sure it's touched before crossing the line. Review complete. Looking at this angle, we see the ball's crossed the back of the goal line before being touched. Decision on the scoreboard.
It's going to be a goal.
Yeah, good kick in the wet, that.
That is a fantastic kick in the wet. So Hollands gets his second, and where there is a little bit of air, there's life.
Well, if you're going to make a charge, it has to be centre-bounce goals. It's as simple as that, and they've been smacked in the middle for large parts of the night. Pulls the ball away there. Nothing really to see.
It was Hill who gave away the free kick here on Hollands.
Yeah, the free's there.
Excellent finish as well. I thought for a second here that Carlton didn't have anyone on the line and McStay had a free jump at the ball here to touch it. Just a game of millimetres. It goes over, and you're right, King, it has to come out of the middle now.
Chera's in there. Walsh as well. And Lord inside the rucks. Walsh. Back towards Young. Hands and knees. Sits on top of it. There's Young down McStay. Chera stripped of the footy as he went to get rid of it by foot. Walsh happy to just hack it forward off the ground. Oh, look at that. Very classy. Crisp just chipped it up in the air, a little wedge to Schultz. He's playing one of his better games in black and white. Sees Crisp again, and Chera is having none of it.
DeConing and Cripps on the bench at the moment, so their second set of mids are getting an opportunity here for Carlton. Then to read back on.
So nudged out Young by McStay, but legally, said the umpire. Pendlebury. Akers grabbed it, got rid of it. Walsh. Back he goes towards Chera. Nick Dacos. They fight for it now. So the crowd here tonight, 82,058. They've had to deal with some ordinary conditions for most of the night. Young through the legs of Walsh. Pendlebury with plenty of control to Moore. With a big strong kick towards full forward. No Mark Membry. Silvani looking for Sard, found the boundary line instead.
If a crowd of 82,058 can be subdued, Matthew, that's what it's been this evening.
Definitely for these two sides who are the loudest, it's been relatively quiet, hasn't it?
DeGoey subbed out. I think there's an issue there with DeGoey. Keep an eye on that though. McStay, Membry, back by hand. Sard intercepts the press. Clearing kick out defence. Kemp, who had the purple boots on in the first half, has got the white boots on now. Akers to that man. Slips. Houston gets away from him. Now Chera. Can they get a second one in a row? Quaynor got in the way. Here is the debutant. He's had a couple of goes already tonight. There's Willie White. And hasn't been able to snag his first major yet. His family are watching on.
So Quaynor with the football. Dacos just with just a little issue there. Talking to the physio. 2-on-2 here, no Mark Haynes. Schultz with the crumbs. Profit up Carlton here, side bottom. Houston. Perryman, Moore, runs into Kemp, runs around Kemp, then kick to the open space. 1-on-1. What can Hill do with Hollands? Hill goes to ground, taps it towards Elliott. He's got Crisp there for support. To the side, DeLong, to Lipinski. Teamwork magnificent. Myercheck tried to make sure of it on the line, but it's been touched and goes through for a behind.
It's paid the free for the hold.
3 behinds for Will White on debut. Full post-game analysis you'll hear from the both coaches in the press conferences. Sarah Jones will steer you through a nice big wrap of tonight's Thursday night game. Lord, can the Blues press again, give them some hope? And there is White, a warnable product. Goes in the pocket, Howe in best position, tries to kill at balls there. They just seem to have the answers all around the ground at the moment. The Pies, Pendlebury to his good mate, side bottom.
The time that they did need to bomb it inside, they had Tom De Koning in the goal square by himself. It was just that little three-quarter kick. Howe was standing out in front.
740 games between those two players. Howe is side bottom, did it easily with the side step. And then the barrel kick towards half forward. McGovern goes in. Haynes goes in. Hill crashes the pack as well. Spat out to Membry by hand. Perryman, Lux a fortune. Myercheck from 49, loads up. But it was offline. A tired-looking Carlton through. Kemp has the football at half-back.
He's a touch more aggressive to Walsh. Thought about the hand pass now. Goes by foot to Young. Walsh is on the overlap. He's got to get the ball moving. And then spreads it laterally wide to Haynes. Going a long way home, Wiedering. Sees something he likes in the form of Dockett. He better build up this by the Blues. Now it's up to Curnow. He's got to defeat Howe and Moore, and that is no easy task, even for a man of Charlie Curnow's abilities.
He's back to his best, Darcy Moore. Sort of fought back in that game against the Bulldogs 2 weeks ago. Collingwood having the bye last week in the second half. It's been excellent tonight.
Throw in. The Koning attacking it. McStay stayed behind and got the football to Schultz.
Listening to the voting tonight for the Richard Pratt medal. Tough night to just absolutely stand my best on ground.
Well, that's touched off the boot. Play on as the ball.
Where would you be going, Kingy?
Side bottom's been everywhere. Josh Dacos has been consistent. It's just a really good spread of contributors. Can you put team effort on the trophy?
So McStay with the free kick. And the faithful loved it. The Warren stand side of the ground. Mixed state of the pack, Wiedering. So Wiedering to Chera. The clock's ticking under 6 minutes now.
It's going to be hard for Michael Voss to deny the second half fade-outs. I mean, that's going to be probably the biggest talking point out of the night. Collingwood dominant. Are they too old? No. They may be just too experienced. But the talking point Michael Voss will really find it difficult to ignore. Is it the personnel? Is it the system? Is it the confidence? What is it?
Fogarty incident will also make plenty of talkback radio as well. Kick inside, 50 cut off by McGovern. Short one, Doherty, who's looking to palm it off. Chera is going to head towards centre half forward in the Kemp direction. Goes the fist. Crisp was there to read it. Up to Moore, who's played a super game. And then a looping handball over the top. It's close to the boundary line. Kept in by Hollands. And then darting ball inboard to Chera as we now get under 5 minutes.
25-point deficit. Wittering's called back to the members' side. Haynes. He's got Sard, the runner, further wide. Next to go to Lord. Plays on immediately. Can they take a mark inside? Hewitt arrives to Coning's taken one big grab in defence. Motlop runs front on into Quaynor. And he'll get the free kick. Needs to get back, slot it, and get it back in the middle.
Oh, I think Isaac Quaynor just got caught in an awkward position there, and Motlop had his head over the ball. I'm happy with that being paid a free kick.
Motlop simply must kick it in a hurry. From directly in front. And that's a pretty good summation of the night Michael Voss and his Blues have had. Motlop and Houston, they might be having a chat about the incident earlier on. That's out the full. So Williams will get the free. An opportunity from nowhere. It's a funny little poke kick. And that just ain't any good at all for the Blues.
I love to see Nick Dacos just getting back and defending like that.
Well, the Pete looks on through the fingertips of Cameron. There's Elliott crashing the pack. Josh Dacos, Lipinski, inboard DeLong. That was offline. Dave McStay worked for it. Had to affect the tackle in the end. The Macedonian marvel himself on the big screen across the MCG, and the Collingwood faithful love it. Cripps along the boundary, wobbly one. Moore can't keep it in. $82,058 people here at the MCG.
Averaged 22 points in second halves in their first three matches of the season. The Blues, they've only scored 10 in the second half this evening. Tough wet conditions though. They play the West Coast Eagles next week at Gather Round, the Blues.
Just looked like they've tried to force it in the second half.
There's a lot of love. Fist raised. And Collingwood fans are loving it. Two sons are out there. What a night of the footy for the Dacoses. Now gets away from him.
Just imagine going to the footy and just watching your two sons play, and they're arguably top, 30, 40 players in the competition just running around.
One's had 30 disposals, the other's had 25. Split only by Pendlebury, the top three possession winners for the Pies. Chera, Moyer. Long puts a wrestling style manoeuvre and dumps him into the turf.
I haven't seen one of those paid for a while, those sort of dumping tackles. That's close to borderline being dangerous for mine.
To Coney. Fought his way hard there in that contest and gets a free kick for high contact. I read that better, couldn't quite complete the mark. Curnow and Walsh there, not fighting for it, came out to Hewitt, could have been taken high, and was taken high. A couple of the umpires just looking at each other, who's going to pay it? So Hewitt is kicked one.
He's had a great battle with Nick Dacos all night. He can hold his head high.
So goes back with urgency. The former Swan from about 40 out. And they needed more of that tonight. So it's a 3-goal ball game with 1:36 left.
Well, first half he took the honours. Not many have had much success against Nick Dacos, and he did the job, held him to 10 disposals, and probably his poorest half of football for some time. But Nick responded at the start of the third term and really probably been one of the better players in the second half. But Hewitt can, as I say, hold his head high. He's been a significant contributor tonight. Not too many in the midfield can tonight. You'd think the Carlton midfield have lowered their colours. A lot's been on the shoulders of De Koning and Cripps the last few weeks. Beaten tonight.
Cripps at 16 disposals. Walsh leads the Blues and all comers with 31, Akers with 30, Hewitt with 29, Doherty 26.
Just the one clearance for Paddy Cripps.
Shoulders the load so often. Chera, Hollins has kicked a nice goal. He's provided a run all night. Sweeping 20-metre forward hand pass. Doherty. Get some more late joy. Frampton just fisted away straight back to Hollins. Have a go, Ollie. That's what he does. High ball. Right to the teeth of goal.
A bit of credit to Billy Frampton behind the ball. He's done the job on Charlie Curnow tonight as well. Thought Darcy Moore might be the man, but it's been Frampton.
How's long ball in the Elliott direction. Out of play.
The question around the Richard Pratt medal as well, I think it's actually a strength that we can't pick someone out of the Collingwood lineup tonight that's a bona fide contender. They're all contenders at the moment.
Collingwood are going to take the 30th renewal of the Peter Mack Cup, taking a stand against cancer tonight.
Maybe it is Darcy Cameron. 22 possessions, 8 clearances.
Been huge. Koning's been on fire, probably one of the form players in the competition coming in.
Tonight Collingwood will win 11 of their last 13 clashes. So a ball up, centre wing. De Koning taps it down to Pendlebury. Tries to handball it to himself. He's so clever. Just can't quite manufacture anything more than what's been a miserable night weather-wise.
Possession number 30 for Pendlebury now. Just does it well.
And the Blues will drop to 11 losses and just 2 wins from their last 13 matches. And questions to be answered. I'm sure Michael Voss will get plenty at the press conference. You'll hear all that on Fox after the game, as well as you'll hear from Craig McRae.
The work rate from Collingwood has been super impressive.
Cameron looked for a free. Elliott taps it towards Nick Dacos. Under off the ball by Silvani. Hewitt went in with his foot. Josh Dacos, Elliott, long, tapped it cleverly to Maynard, ran out of room. In another possession for Nick Dacos. Siren at the MCG. Collingwood get the win over their greatest rival. They go to 3-1. And the Navy Blues start season 2025 0-4. It's the Pies by 17 points in front of 82,058 at a wet MCG.
themselves as a real contender tonight, Collingwood. After what was a slow start in opening round, they have really hit the ground running. They've found their groove. A lot of people make comment around the age of their list, but tonight they looked clinical. They looked experienced. They were challenged, as Carlton have done in a lot of games this year in the first half, but just that experience shot through in the second half. And they've announced themselves as a contender again in 2025.
Brad Johnson's on the MCG. Jono.
Oh man, that feels really good about that victory, Nick. That was awesome. What a performance.
No, absolutely. Super proud of the lads. We really set ourselves to this game coming off the bye, and we wanted to start the season really strong. Unfortunately, we didn't last year, and I think we've learnt our lessons and we came out tonight and played our brand of footy.
Oldest team ever put on the park in AFL, VFL history. But your more mature players, let's call them that, they really stood up tonight. Pendles was amazing. Steele out on the wing, they just didn't stop.
No, absolutely. I got told that. I was trying to have a coffee today, and the barista told me that. But you can say they're old, but they're so wise. Like, you come to these late game situations or a big blockbuster game, and all us youngsters, we're trying to soak in everything they can give us. And you see late, like Steele's walking on the boundary and everything. It's pretty awesome to play with them.
You must have been wrapped too with Darcy Cameron tonight, because TDK was in great form, but he stood up right in the middle of the ground.
Absolutely. TDK's having a massive year. We knew coming into the game he was going to get them going out of set of bounds and out of stoppages, and he was awesome again. I thought, as you said, Darcy Cameron's ability just to negate him, I think, from quarter time onwards and really outwork him defensively was awesome.
You've had to battle with various conditions throughout the start of the season, but what was it tonight in terms of what's been the turnaround since that round 0 defeat? What have you done differently?
Yeah, I know. You can come into it. We were so excited to play the season. Unfortunately, clearly didn't start the way we wanted to, and we just tweaked a few things. There wasn't this major change. Fly and the coaches came in with an unreal attitude about we're in good stead. We just didn't play our best. We changed a few things, and I think it's paying off.
And it's a big night as well, playing for the Peter Mac Cup.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge honour, and we hope that anyone out there battling with cancer, we hope they get strength from us playing, and we hope that they know that we're there with them.
Well, congratulations on a big win, and enjoy the celebrations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Brad Johnson and Nick Dacos. 27 disposals, a wonderful footballer and a wonderful ambassador for the game. So the Pies get the job done by 17 points. There'll be so much to discuss in the wash-up. You'll hear from both press conferences, etc. But Sarah Jones will take over. Sarah.
Thank you very much, Howie. Yes, this is Thursday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by Ford, sharing the drive with the Cats since 1925, and a brilliant win by the Collingwood Football Club, all set up in the third term. Jason Dunstall, what'd you make of it?
Comprehensive in the end. I thought the Pies were very good. There's no joy for Carlton after half-time. That trend continues, but I thought the 17-point margin genuinely flattered Carlton. I thought Collingwood controlled this after half-time, and really, to me, it felt more like a 40-point win.
Yeah, they just won more critical moments, critical contests in the second half. They probably wanted it more than Carlton with some of the efforts that we saw, and credit to the Pies. It was one of those games, just had to roll your sleeves up and get to work, and they did it for longer, and they get the rewards.
All right, let's head to ground level for the post-match presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Tonight's match between Collingwood and Carlton was played for the Peter Mac Cup. The Cup recognises the Peter Mac Foundation and their work supporting those affected by cancer. Every dollar raised through the Peter Mac Cup this year will help researchers improve care for patients with cancer. And tonight, all donations will be doubled thanks to the Pratt Foundation. Alongside the Peter Mac Cup, we also award the Richard Pratt Medal. The Richard Pratt Medal is awarded to the player voted best on ground and presented in honour of the late Richard Pratt. I would now like to welcome Millie Weislitz and Sammy and Ben Gaminda, who will present the medal on behalf of the Pratt Foundation. I'm pleased to announce the winner of the Richard Pratt Medal goes to Lockie Schultz.
Firstly, I'd just like to thank Carlton. Always a great game between us guys, and obviously a very special week building up to this game, and for such a great cause to bring awareness to the Peter Mac Foundation. So a very special game for everyone involved. To our boys, thank you. Love playing with you. Great fun tonight. Got the W, so that's the main thing. But on to next week. And finally, to the fans, we couldn't do it without you. So yeah, thanks very much. We really appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you, Lockie. We now move on to the Peter Mac Cup, and presenting the cup today is Peter Dacos. I would now like to call forward Darcy Moore to accept the Peter Mac Cup on behalf of tonight's winners, Collingwood.
Firstly, to the fans, over 80,000 of you turning up tonight. We appreciate all of your support, and you make our game great, so let's hear it for yourselves. Collingwood and Carlton, we are the fiercest of rivals, but for us to come together and channel that rivalry into this Peter Mac Cup game is super important. Obviously, the Carlton Footy Club, your support and the way that you've driven this game and this cause, raising really important funds and importantly awareness to cancer, which touches the lives of so many. So we are truly honoured to play our part in this game, so thank you so much. And lastly, to the Pratt Foundation for your continued support of this game. The oldest continuing charity game in the AFL, and we're proud to be a part of it, so thank you so much.
And a reminder to donate to the Peter Mac Foundation to help them with their groundbreaking research. They're world-leading scientists trying to find cures for cancers and improve treatment for their patients. Darcy Moore, as always, spoke so well, and he must be so incredibly pleased about Collingwood's performance tonight. They're really setting up their season nicely after that blip, I suppose, in the opening round against the Giants, which was a bit of a horror show for them. They've set it up nicely since with 3 consecutive wins.
Yeah, they have. They've really steadied. They've got close to their best lineup. Like, this is going to be the version of Collingwood this year. I thought that they've done it differently. I mean, the Port Adelaide one was a blitz, an offensive blitz. This one, they had to roll the sleeves up. The Bulldogs was a hard-fought win, so they're banking them, and obviously they've got to, pace themselves to be primed come later in the season.
Now, Joey, we weren't privy to it, but you were a judge in voting for the medal for best on ground. We saw Lockie Schultz get awarded the medal. How close did you get?
This was one of the hardest awards. The voting today was impossible. There were 10 players you could throw a blanket over. I thought that all had impact without anyone really being a standout. There was no standout best on ground, but I thought Lockie Schultz, to be able to kick the 2 goals, he had the most score involvements on the ground. He was in everything in the forward half. His pressure was good.
So you gave him your
I gave him 2 votes. He gave him 2 of the votes. I thought it was a very even team performance, and Georgia Hill was probably the best of the Blues, but the Pies dominated the voting.
Peter Dacos would have turned up tonight thinking, for sure I'm giving this to my son. For sure.
One of them.
Have a look at their third quarter, though. This was extraordinary, wasn't it? This is when they turned it on, and they just controlled the game. From the moment they came out after half-time, it was all Collingwood. We spoke about those moments, Joey, and those little one-on-one contests that inevitably went Collingwood's way when they needed them.
Yeah, and they got to work around the footy. Darcy Cameron outplayed Tom De Koning in the second half. Nick Dacos got to work. I thought Perryman's job on Cripps was sensational, and probably won't get the plaudits it deserves for what he was able to do. And Sidebottom and Pendlebury just continue, keep going like a nice old bottle of wine. So, as we said, they just had winners all over the ground, and probably had the more winners than Carlton did.
If they're going to have a good year, Jason, it's going to be on the back of this experience. It's going to be on the back of just know-how, the right thing at the right time. They set the ground up perfectly on defence, didn't they? And Carlton couldn't move the ball.
Yeah, particularly after half-time. So I think they reorganised themselves, stopped the switch, stopped the ball coming back in the middle. But this is a team, remember, that everyone was quick to write off after that disappointing opening game. And then 3 wins in a row. They're back up and running. They've got a pretty fit list. Not too many players missing from their best lineup. I think they're going to really set themselves up for a pretty strong season.
They've got a big month ahead. So Sydney for Gather Round next week, Brisbane at the Gabba, the traditional Easter Thursday night clash, Anzac Day here, of course, at the G, and then a clash against the Cats, which equally will fill this stadium. So, Joey, the next month will tell us a lot about where Collingwood are going to feature.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's still, as I said, early in the season and hard to know what this competition looks like, but they'll be up for the fight. I think they'll be confident taking on Sydney on a neutral venue next week, and then, yeah, tough game against Brisbane. But they're in pretty good shape, both behind the ball, in front of the ball, and their midfield, they're finding the right mix.
We've spoken a bit about how they're the oldest team assembled. Jace, I loved listening to Nick Dacos talk to Brad Johnson post-game there about just how much he's absorbing from the wise old heads. Even he, who's one of the best players in the game, is learning from guys like Sidebottom and Pendlebury and Darcy Moore.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they've been through things that Nick's yet to go through. He can draw off that. All the things that they're doing in terms of preparing themselves and setting up for a long campaign, the younger players can learn off that. And as good as Nick Dacos is, he's smart enough to realise there are still plenty of things he can learn and plenty of resources he can draw upon.
Another tough night there for the Carlton coach, Michael Voss. We will dissect the Blues, what went wrong, what is going wrong this season, but we need to celebrate the victorious Collingwood Football Club. 17-point winners tonight. They were fabulous, all off the back of that third term where they really put the foot down and they assemble in the rooms. A couple of bubs in there for the song.
No earmuffs, Sarah?
Oh, no. Scott's providing them. Dad moment from Scotty Pendlebury. Let's head down there now. Tears from Bubs there, not enjoying that moment, but
we just had 30 people screaming in his ear, Sarah.
Nonetheless, lots of smiles for the Magpies there. A job well done. Oh, look at that. It might be Carlton fans that are doing that at home now after another loss, but the Pies were brilliant. And Kingy, Craig McRae has got a lot to work with now for, as Joey said, he's banking these wins as you go along. It is a marathon season, but he's getting the job done week by week.
Yeah, he is. And they get through with a clean bill of health too. I think that's important for Collingwood. When you are a bit older, you can't get too many injuries along the journey. And, you know, the older guys, you don't want to see calves or anything like that pop up through this early stage. But 2 goals, 8 from set shots. Jason's right. It was a 40-point margin. It felt like a 40-point game all night, really. The expected scoring has them winning by more than 5 goals. So it was a comprehensive performance.
Joey, we're going to have a look at some forward half intercepts. We're calling it the fly trap, the ability of the Pies to keep it in there, lock it in there, and then use it to their advantage.
Yeah, well, in the end, the field position was the key. They were able to win clearance and play the game in their front half, and then Carlton was just struggling to get the ball out. And as you said, you spoke well, that was set up well behind the footy. They were in really good shape. A bit of Carlton's method, it was a bit of Carlton's use as well, but Collingwood really patrolled the second half of this game with their ability to lock it in their forward half. They've got guys that can apply forward half pressure as well, which can really help, and they're able to take advantage.
Do they work hard enough in the second half, Kingy, to provide those options to continue to move the ball aggressively? Do they run as hard, as aggressively, even when you mightn't get used?
It's a really good question, and it's difficult to answer because sometimes it's the sum of all parts. I don't think they've got enough skill in this team, and then the guys that have skill aren't tough enough. So they're caught in betwixt and between. Yeah, I think they've tried to alter the way they play a little bit to get a bit more outside ball and be a bit more damaging, but they had 3 or 4 guys jump out of the boat tonight.
Yep.
And really not put their body on the line, and that permeates through the group. I don't care who you are. And when it happens in the first minute of the third quarter, you get whacked. Collingwood were there, full ball, hungry, chasing this victory. and the door was just left ajar by a couple of their senior core players, and they just took advantage.
It did feel that way. The second half, there's one team that was unconditional and one team that was conditional. Just picked and choose moments, whether it was trying to kick the ball off the ground instead of bending over to pick it up, some efforts, some one-on-one contests. They just didn't have enough winners that were really prepared to go the distance with Collingwood in that particularly in the second half.
All right, let's head down into the rooms where Pies skipper Darcy Moore joins us. Now, Darcy, congratulations on the win. It must be incredibly satisfying to get the points tonight. Tell us what was said at halftime, because that third quarter was simply awesome.
Yeah, look, the second quarter was really a tight tussle, wasn't it? Pretty low scoring. I think there was only one goal for the quarter. So our message at halftime was to really stick with the contest. We knew it was a really tight game around the footy and pretty low scoring, but we were confident that if we just kept turning up and kept meeting the different moments of the game, that the down wall would break. And fortunately, in the third quarter, we were able to do that. We just kept it in our front half, and guys like Lockie Schultz could go to work.
Darcy, congrats, well played. It was a great game. Talk to us about your matchup tonight. We're used to seeing you or expecting you to go to a Charlie Curnow, but Lewis Young was keen to go to you, and you were happy to let that matchup unfold?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I plan to go to Charlie. I love playing on him. It's always good fun. He attracts the footy so much, and it's always good fun going head-to-head with him. But, yeah, like you said, they sent Lewis Young to me, and we just adapt to that. It's a great luxury of having Billy Frampton and Jeremy Howe in the back line. You know, we're all pretty versatile, and we just take what the opposition gives us, and we're able to sort of do the job in the contest tonight. And it was on in the wet conditions. You know, there were some key contests there, particularly from stoppage, and we were able to get it done.
7 guys over 30. What do you do now, Dars, for the old guys? Do you make them a nice chamomile cup of tea or something, or get a blanket and put it over their legs? What's the story?
Well, they did just say to me, they said, it's a school night. Can we hurry up and get off the oval? So they, the way you can tell the old guys is normally before training, you guys will know this, they're rubbing the Metzel or the deep heat on the knees, on the joints, just to get the old joints moving. That's how you know the 30-plussers are getting to work.
Hey, you'll be there soon, don't worry. You'll be there in not too long. Hey, personal point of view, probably your best game for a while?
Yeah, not sure, really. It's all a bit of a blur at this stage. I don't remember too much of the game, to be honest. But, I feel like our back mix in general is playing some great footy. Having Dan Houston there is pretty fun for me. It's just, you bring the ball down and guys like him can just go to work. So it's good fun back there.
You mentioned Dan Houston. Another guy that's come into the team this year I thought was excellent tonight was Harry Perriman's role on Paddy Cripps. It was a game really that was built for Cripps, but he had little influence, and I thought Perriman, when he did both sides of the ball, was sensational. Just tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, I'm loving what Harry's doing. He's a real weapon for us at training. He's probably the highest GPS runner that we've got, so he works super hard, and over pre-season he's just absolutely smashed it. But yeah, what I see is just he's a really good, well-rounded footballer. Like you said, he's able to defend super well. He had some great turnovers tonight and some great tackles and pressure acts. But then he looks really clean with the footy, slippery footy tonight. And left foot, right foot, he looks really clean and really composed. So he's just a really well-rounded footballer, and you love having guys like that slot into your team. And already in the first 4 matches of the season, he's played multiple roles. He's played mid, wing and back for us. And that's always a great sign when a guy coming into a new system can just play multiple roles and you trust him. It's a good sign of things to come.
That first game's been pretty quickly forgotten. There are a lot of people very quick to write Collingwood off after you were pretty disappointing in your opening match of the season. But 3 wins back-to-back, and all of a sudden there must be some confidence building amongst the group.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, we're pretty process-driven, so we've done the work over pre-season. We've worked super hard on our game, refining it. We know how to be successful in this competition, and it's a matter of us bringing it and having the right chemistry and the right timing and a bit of luck as well. So, we're really confident in our process. We know it works. We know it stacks up. And like you said, the last 3 weeks, we've been able to do that. So we're excited. Having said that, such an even competition. It's still so early in the season. I mean, you see some results around the comp in the first 5, 6, 7 games, and it is really unpredictable. So our job is to just stick with it and put our system out there for long enough to break teams.
Das, it's been a big week with everything and the rivalry. You would have grown up going to Collingwood games knowing full well about the Carlton-Collingwood rivalry. What's the mood like in the rooms compared to other games when you beat your arch enemy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit more riff-raff back here, that's for sure. Collingwood-Carlton, they definitely bash down the door to the change rooms, but you feel it from the stands, really. It's such an electric atmosphere out there when we run around against the Blues, and those big contests, those big plays, you just feel the fans come to life. So
it's very, very cool to play in those games every year and also to come together, both clubs. Like I said out there, to come together and support the Peter Mac Cancer Foundation, and we throw our support obviously behind Sam Doherty and everything he's been through and all the important work he does at Peter Mac. So it's cool to have the rivalry, and then to channel it into such a great cause is a great thing too.
Must be nice to see a non-midfielder win an award. Lockie Schultz getting the medal for best player. He's one that copped a bit of criticism last year, perhaps didn't deliver straight away what might have been expected, but looks like he started this season pretty well.
How good. Someone new getting an award. It's love that for the small forwards. No, Lockie's been unbelievable since he came to the footy club. He works so hard. He puts on incredible pressure for us. He does stuff that probably you guys, the broadcast cameras, don't see. You know, those fingernail plays, you know, those box out for other guys to fly, you know, blocking for other guys to be able to crumb goals. He's been doing that stuff really consistently for us. So to see him have, you know, a great opening month of the season and then have his name up in lights tonight as a captain, it just makes me so proud, because I see the work he puts in and how, you know, committed he is to the team and how much he's bought into the team. And he's an absolutely incredible teammate. We're so happy to have him.
Well done, Skipper. Job well done tonight. As you said, it's a school night, so we'll let you head home to bed and get ready to pack your bags for a big trip to Adelaide to gather round.
A few of the old guys here are turned on the heated blankets, so they'll put them over the laps in the team meeting.
Go and join them, Daz. Thanks very much. We know he's one of the most articulate players in the game, soon to be president of the AFL Players Association, but it gives us a good window into some of the less heralded players at the club. It mentioned Harry Perryman. You put Lockie Schultz on the agenda before the game in our pre-game show. So
it's not a stock standard answer, is it? He actually expands and tells you a little bit about the background, what they offer, what they bring to the environment. So it's really pleasing to see.
And Lockie Schultz, 18 disposals, a couple of goals. He hasn't quite found his feet as a Collingwood player until the last couple of games. It feels like finally, he's delivering on that promise.
Low scoring night, tough night for forwards. Joey couldn't quite get him into the area he needed to be in the 3-vote position, but at least you had him in there somewhere, Joey.
He got the 2 votes, but look, it has taken him till this season really to get back to his best footy, and it is hard because a small forward role is really role specific and it's different at every club, so I think it just took him time to adjust to a new role at the way Collingwood do it, to maybe how it was done at Fremantle. But now that he's found his groove, he's a two-way player. He's a guy that applies a lot of pressure, but also hits the scoreboard, and he was involved in everything that led to scores in a low-scoring game. He had huge influence.
Recruiting recently has been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a very tough forward mix now for oppositions to match up. Bobby Hill virtually was unsighted tonight, but he can light up a game on his own. Then you got the Lockie Schultz. Jamie Ellett was another one that was pretty quiet. They've got good tools to contest. It's a good-looking forward line. I like what they're offering up forward.
All right, we're going to head down to Eddie Betts, who has tracked Lockie Schultz down with him. Ed.
I'm just down in the rooms with Lockie Schultz, mate. Big game, Carlton v Collingwood. It's a massive rivalry. How good would this win?
Yeah, it's obviously always fun versus an old rival, so to get the 4 points is pretty special. Something that, we probably put a little bit more energy into this week, and happy to walk away with the win.
And what was the message at halftime? It was a close game. We know that you guys run out the game. We know Carlton have a bad second half. Was there any message about that?
No, not really. It's more just focus on us and what we can control. We know that they're a really good pressure team and that they really want to take on the corridor, and they'll pierce some balls through there all night, and we just knew that if we keep filling our spots and turning up to the contest, we're going to get looks back the other way. And credit to the boys, we stuck to our roles and stuck to the task, and we're able to score on the back end of that. And
you've got some young bulls in the side. You talk about Josh Dacos, Nick Dacos. I don't want to talk about the 2 old boys. They like fine wines. We got still this old boy just right behind us over here, and then you got Prenders. They played a super game tonight, but they just keep getting better.
It's actually crazy, yeah. It's credit to who they are as people and how hard they work on themselves. And you see it Monday to Friday, they get to the club. It's like it's their first year. They just want to get everything out of themselves, and it pushes everyone around them to get better as well. And they're just great people to have there. And they're special players, but they're even better people. It's pretty crazy to just get to rock up to your job and they're standing there beside you.
And wet weather footy, it's great weather for a small forward. Yourself ended up playing a great game, winning the Peter Mac medal.
Yeah, special night. Obviously, to get the medal, that's pretty special. I'm not sure I deserved it, but
You did. You played really well.
it's wet conditions means the ball comes to the ground a bit more, and hopefully I can get to work and put some pressure on.
Well done, mate. In my contract at Fox Footy, I put in there, I've always got to interview a small forward, so that's how it is. So well done, man. Well done. Super. Good work.
Well done, Ed, and well done, Lockie Schultz, on a brilliant game. The boy from Moama played very well today, Joe. Squeezed him into the votes. Someone else who played really well was Harry Perryman. He is our KFC FLG moment of the match. Perryman's first goal as a Magpie. And Darcy Moore gave us a really good insight into the kind of player he is. He used the word well-balanced a couple of times, Kingy. He's really adding something nice to the Magpie team.
Yeah, just a good all-round footballer. As Darcy Moore said, he can do everything. He probably went under the radar a little bit at the Giants because of sort of off-Broadway, but anyone that's played with him have big raps on him with his ability to kick the foot. He's a beautiful kick. He can defend, as we said, and it feels like his running's improved over the years. I think that was his slight knock. Well, he maybe didn't spend as much time in the midfield at the Giants as he would like, but that's continuing to improve the more pre-season he's got under his belt.
All right, I know a lot of Blues fans out there want us to unpack what went wrong and what happened. And there are a lot of stats that are in the worst territory, Kingy, that we need to address and have a look at. Points scored from turnover, their worst return on record.
Yeah, and we're drilling down in the second half because this is the issue at Carlton. And it's been an issue for...
They can't hide now, can they?
No, they can't.
4 weeks in a row and it's getting worse.
Yeah, and I guess the answer is the hardest part to find. Is it the fact that they can't run? Is it the fact that they won't run? Is it attitude or actual physical capabilities? Is it all in? Are they actually as united as we think they are? Do they work for each other like you expect them to? Do they first give? I don't think they've got the skill level behind the ball that's competition average. I just think that what they lack in toughness with their skill players, they don't make up for in skill. And what they lack in skill with their tough players has left it too few. I mean, Paddy Cripps has an off night. He has one clearance for the night. And who picks up the slack? Who really steps up? No one.
It is a hard one to try and figure out because it does feel like it's a little bit of everything. I don't think it's as simple as there's one thing that you can fix because you're right, the skill execution, and then it gets a bit worse as they get tired. Their ability to compete and really sort of dig in their second halves have now become an issue. As I said, it feels like they haven't been as unconditional as some other teams with just the winning contests and their desire to run and work for one another. So it's going to be an interesting time for Carlton and Michael Voss to figure out how they can turn around because I think it's a myriad of issues.
So the issues they were having in the back half of last year, have they carried over, Jace, or is it a whole new set of problems, you think?
No, well, we've seen it from them before. My concern is once your confidence is down, as theirs really is now, you become a little bit insular as a player. So in that second half, when you need players to do unrewarded running, and by that run off your opponent, take off, and you mightn't get used, but it might open up a space for someone else to get used. The more movement you have, the more options there are for the guy with the ball. And Kingy's right. They don't have enough players who can take that kick on and actually hit it. But if you're not giving them enough options, you're never going to pull that kick in the second half. And I think they all start to go, things aren't going well. I better make sure my man doesn't get it. And you stay at home. And then all of a sudden the bloke's got the ball at half back and there's no movement. It's just static. So you end up kicking along to a contest. You give the opposition what they want and then back it comes. So, and Joey made a really good point. It's not one thing. You can't just sit there and say, we're not doing this, so we do this and everything will be okay. It's a little bit of everything rolled into one, and the overall package is really lacking, unfortunately.
Are they too tall?
I had concerns going into tonight, absolutely.
They run out of run, but it's almost like, well, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You got 3 tools for the ball, 3 tools behind the ball. You can't ask any more of your ruckman. He's running himself into the ground. I just wonder whether they're better off going back to that hybrid type and not relying on the contested mark forward of the ball nor behind them. Be prepared to leak a few goals, being beaten in contested mark situations to create some run, even if it is just artificial run, because that is damning.
It's extraordinary, really. It's quite stark when you see it there, Joey.
Your turn, Joey.
Well,
unpack that.
And I even think, even some of when you talk about their backs, I mean, I think guys, from my understanding, guys like Sard and McGovern aren't necessarily to have the biggest tanks. So maybe they're the ones that have to provide the run because it's not Haynes and Wiedering and Silvani that are meant to do it. So whether it is the guys that are the guys that are meant to run and gun, they just can't carry it out in second halves either because of where they're at with their conditioning. So Zach Williams a bit the same. He's not, he's a powerful athlete. athlete, and when he's at his very best, he's explosive, but I don't think he's a natural endurance runner. So maybe there's some of the players in the second halves that don't give them the firepower they need. And once that stops, the small forwards are a bit the same. Motlop's still got to work on his tank. That's been a bit of an issue. I heard he'd taken a big leap this pre-season, but he still looks like he's got a long way to go. So when you have 4 or 5, that's well and truly enough at AFL level to get exposed.
Kingy, it is a long year. There are still plenty of games left. Can they rescue this season and make finals?
Oh, they're going to have to jump a lot of teams now. That's the problem. I mean, 0-4, it doesn't get much worse, does it? So, look, they're 0-4 without real belief in what they're doing now. I mean, you would have to question, is it the system? Is it all the things we've spoken about? You know, is it our skill execution? Are we tough enough? Have we got the right plan? What's the direction? Everyone in their own time would be thinking, are we on the right track here? Are we really able to compete with the better teams? Because it was a 17-point margin that should have been 40. And I look at the list and I can nearly tell you what Adam Chair is going to have every week. I can nearly say it's going to be a nice 23-possession game, and it won't do anything more than, it won't separate the game, but it won't cost you the game either. That'll be nice. I can tell you what a Zach Williams is going to do. Cooper Lord was a good find tonight. I think that they've got to progress with that. But Sam Walsh is not having the damage that he used to have.
No, and I like what I saw from the first game. Will White did some really good things. Mightn't be the most polished kick we've seen, but he certainly tried hard. But you're right, they're lacking a little bit of quality, and it's not like they're trying to bank some wins while waiting for a raft of players to come back. We know Harry Mackay, we'd love to see him back in action, but that doesn't automatically fix everything. Yeah. Cottrell's a handy player, good to get him back in, but we know Newman's gone, so he's not going to be back.
Elijah Hollands maybe, but yeah, you're
decent,
right.
But not someone that's going to turn the tide, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So they got a lot of problems.
And then I think they're going to have a difficult conversation with Doherty. And as harsh as that sounds, it's been a couple of times now at the start of this season, and sometimes your thirst for contact and the contest is not there. It wanes. And this was a significant moment. First centre bounce of the second half, they're in the game. They're playing some pretty good footy. The Dacos breaks and all of a sudden you think, oh, where's this going? And there's a chance to put your body on the line there and make contact. And they just choose not to do it.
Yep.
So in the end, you can point everywhere. It just doesn't mean enough to Carlton at the moment. It's not the nth degree. It's nice, but it's not absolute.
Well, a little bit for Michael Voss to work with. He is facing the media here at the MCG. Let's head to his post-match media conference now after their 17-point loss, and it sees the Blues go 0-4 to begin the season.
Okay, let's go. Michael, for the 4th straight time you've given up a half-time lead and had a fade out in the second half. Do you think that's playing on the mind of the players? Is that getting into their psyches? Are they overthinking those situations?
Well, coming into half-time, it was... we were pretty clear on what we needed to be able to get done. Certainly the way we played in the first half gave us encouragement to suggest that we could continue it. There was certainly no signs to suggest that that was going to drop off. But ultimately the third quarter was unacceptable. And we talk about this game and about styles, but the reality is that the game is played at contest first. And we absolutely were disappointing in that area. In the third quarter, so we lost territory, couldn't get the ball flow, hard to defend the way we wanted to. The ball come out, we'd lose the contest, and the ball would go back in. Go back to the stoppage. They were cleaner, they were tougher around the ball, they dialed up the pressure, and we didn't handle it. So that'll be something that we'll review strongly. We've already had a really honest chat about that within the rooms. But that's not us. It's not us. We've got a standard that we play to, and we didn't meet that tonight.
Jacob Wettering in the rooms just then chatting to him, he questioned the mental toughness of the group. Is there an element of that from where you see it?
I tend to stick on behaviours and what I want to see in behaviours, and there's a standard as well. So there's an expectation and a standard and the way we want to play and the behaviours that support that, and that's the consistency we're after. But the fact is, when the pressure comes, we're not handling it. So we have to own that. So that puts a target on your back, but that's we have to step into that.
Such obviously an important game and an important half in that third quarter for the team to use your words, produce an unacceptable quarter when so much was on the line. What do you sort of, scratch your head as to what's going on with the play?
I think when you're out there, you're not really thinking about what's happening next. I appreciate that might be the bigger picture of things and how it might play out ultimately. But largely I think when you're in the moment, you're sort of playing the moment. Players don't. Well, I don't think they do. They don't delve into what it means and can we get back? They're just like working out. Okay, what's the next contest need to be? How do we get the 3/4 time huddle? How do we keep the scoreboard in check so we can reset and go again? That's only where we need our players totally present to what we're doing.
And last week you mentioned how you guys had played away from us, like what you are, and it's happened again tonight. Can you sort of, is it really concerning now?
It was unusual today because it was around something that we've been quite strong at regardless, and that was around the ball. So, and they were cleaner. They brought the pressure. We didn't handle it. We didn't step into it. So we'll look at that pretty closely. Won't be missed, I'll tell you that.
What explanations, you said you had a lunch chat last week, what explanations can you give?
No explanations at the moment. It's about probably being clear to be kind. And so, giving the brief about how we felt like the game played out, and then the next part is how do we address it? What are the conversations? What are the edits we need to see? Because you got to, ultimately the way forward is to accept what's happened. You can't shy away from that. You've got to accept what's happened to be able to deal with it, so you can get on with it. So that's what we'll do. Won't be missed.
In that honest chat, were you getting feedback back from the players?
Sorry, just have to be a little bit louder because I can't.
So in that honest chat, were you getting any feedback back from the players?
I don't need it in that moment.
Yeah,
don't need that.
Carlton fans would say that this has been a similar narrative for 3 or 4 weeks. That we're not going to pull the wool over our eyes. We're going to focus on our efficiencies. Do you need a circuit breaker? Do you need to put senior players on notice or any changes of selection to break the cycle?
Well, you'd be assuming that those conversations don't happen anyway.
But in terms of...
So that would be a wrong assumption, because the communication is always transparent and clear about where they're at form-wise. We have decided to settle the team, to get familiar with each other. And, there's a little bit of probably history in that, in our decision-making around that, because the group, if you're talking about the group, hasn't played a lot together. For example, like our back 6, 7, as a back 6 or 7, haven't played a lot of football together. So giving them time to grow is important. So playing games in front of 88,000 people and, in important games is your highlight in the season, very early on in the season. One's rise to the occasion, sometimes you don't. That's all in the coaching. So if I looked at my back 6 or 7, it's, they were under a barrage in the second half, really. But there's a heap of moments you'll take out of that where you just, you look at the edits and sort of say, God, that's a great moment. It's a really great moment. But collectively, we didn't stand up. Our system only works if we're all in it together. So the coaching will come with that. But I also don't want to shy away from the conversations. We're having them all the time. Maybe they'll just be even more pointed this week.
It's obviously very fresh after the win, but do you have an early inkling as to why you guys didn't step into it, why you didn't step up in such an important time?
No, look, I think it's sometimes after a game, my old coach was one that didn't address at times. Lee would be like, no, I need to just separate the emotion a little bit. Come in a couple of days later, let's have a look at it, and then have the conversation there. So, why didn't I ask the players for the feedback? Because ultimately, it's like that probably moment where you go, well, I've said what I've needed to say. It's pretty short. It's pretty sharp. And now we've got to be able to, I guess, walk away without the win, and then we've got to address it. And really, our system is nothing more than we turn up next week and we play another opposition. And that's all we need to focus on. So the circumstances, how it's playing out, I'm more concerned about the standard to be honest with you. That's right now, if you ask me, that's what I'm concerned about. So we've got to address that.
Has there been a drop-off in standard from the first 3 weeks to tonight?
Well, the stands around the ball, we weren't good enough. So, I mean, you saw it. So, you saw it. I saw it. We fumbled. They didn't. They absorbed pressure. We didn't. So, it's pretty clear.
Obviously, the ball was living in the back half, but were there times when players were trying to almost do too much to create?
Well, and that's part of absorbing. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And when I sort of talk about playing us, that's doing a role and backing in that role and making sure you execute it correctly, no matter the circumstances. That's part of it. Not having to reach too far, just keep playing the system. And when we're under pressure, we've got a method we go to, and we didn't do it. So we'll review all those scenarios and those situations, but in that quarter, we just didn't stand up. And largely, where did it start? It started around the ball. And we just weren't able to get territory on the ground, so it probably put the whole team under pressure, to be honest with you.
History suggests that from 04, it's almost impossible to make the finals. Are you confident the team can sort of stay united and galvanised?
Oh, we'll gather. Yeah. Oh, no, we will. I'm more than confident with that. So this group's, just because you have to be honest in a couple of conversations doesn't mean they don't have great character. And we've got a clear, we're sort of really clear on what we want to value. Part of that's being a great teammate. So how do you show that? And if you are, backs to the wall, well, how do you display that? And that's how you stay connected as a football team. And clearly, obviously, we didn't do that. You highlighted probably the roles that need to be played in certain moments, and we obviously strayed from that.
You've got 9 days until your next game. Do you need a circuit break? Do you go to the farm again like you did a couple of years ago? Do you go to the pub for a day? What do you do?
No, we've got a few days off, so the guys will have to take a rest. So you've got to take those opportunities within the season. You don't get many of them. So we've got a 9-day break going into the gather round. So it's an important time after a month to get the recovery, and then we'll get into the training. So the guys will get back together on Sunday. We'll try and get away for the club. That's not for that. It's not for that purpose. No, we're pretty clear what we're going to be able to chase, and but we've got to make some progression pretty fast. So the urgency is real. Absolutely.
We're spoken about the players a lot here. Are you feeling pressure yourself given the start of the season?
I think what we do here is we collectively own where we are. It's on us. So there's no doubt about that. So as a football club, I think what we do really well as a club and internally is we support one another. We see problems, we solve them together. That's the only thing I know about this football club. So regardless of what gets said and regardless of what is actually happening, I think that's a strength of our club, and that's what we'll lean into this week.
Are you hopeful Harry will come back next week?
I'm not going to get in a weekly dialogue, guys, so I just want to put that to bed because if we're supporting him, I don't think that's a great question, sorry, but I just don't.
Lachie Cowan's hamstring, do you have any idea of the severity of that?
No, I don't. Yeah, other than I can confirm it's a hamstring. Yeah.
And Zach looked like he hurt himself late.
No, he's okay. So, yeah, I think he went back on, didn't he?
He was on the side. There was a hand injury.
Oh, was it? Okay, no, I didn't see that. I'd have to check that, but no, I don't. I'm not aware of that.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Cheers.
There is no doubt Carlton will be the big story this week after that disappointing performance against our rivals Collingwood. So we've brought in the news breaker in John Ralph from the Herald Sun. Ralphie, that was a very, very different press conference from Michael Voss to what we saw last week, where he was relatively confident and searching for the positives. He was a bit grumpy tonight.
Yeah, a little bit shell-shocked to him without answers. Now, there was discussion in the rooms post-match where Jacob Woodering has questioned the mental toughness of the group. I think in as many words there, the coach was basically doing that about how tough his own team was at the contest. The chief executive in Brian Cook, who of course said, we want to be a top 4 team. He's adamant the club won't panic. He said, we'll make rational, evidence-based decisions if the losses stack up. Now, he said in the pre-match, I strongly believe we'll come good. If we don't win games, what will we do? A lot of what we continue to do, but not panic. So when do they panic? Well, 9 days into a game against West Coast and then North Melbourne. There's really only 3 teams we thought would be easy beats. They lose to all 3 of those. All of the talk about solidarity, all the talk about, staying strong under Robert Priestley and Cookie, it's not going to evaporate, but it's going to be eroded. Just one thing in the rooms, talking to a lot of Collingwood people there, senior people, they were a bit stunned about what happened in the third quarter, that they knew that they could stack the defensive corridor, and they knew that Carlton would just kick into their hands. They were just like, we knew exactly what was going to happen here, and we saw it time and time again, and then we saw Charlie Curnow thrown behind the ball. I just say they were a bit stunned by it all. And so I think Collingwood would say, yes, we ramped up the pressure in the second half, but they almost made it easy for us. And so there's a lot for Carlton fans and for Michael Voss to digest, but it's going to be another week where he's basically besieged going into the other round.
So what can he change, Kingy? Clearly he's asking for more effort, more endeavour from his team, more application. But does he change game style with the team he's got?
I think he's got a problem with attitude at the moment. As we say, it is not absolute at Carlton right now. The contest is not as embraced as what it was 12 months ago. And they're famous for being so tough, Carlton. They bashed teams last year, the year before, to get to preliminary finals. And it's miles from that now. And it's some of their senior players. That's the disappointing part. I think he'd just be disappointed in what they've served up tonight. They're better than that. But
not us, I think, were the words that he used.
Yeah.
This is not us.
They're better than that. They really are.
Joey?
We spoke about the standards, and he said it won't be missed. I'm fearing for that review on Sunday. He said they're going to be back at the club Sunday. It's going to be ugly. There are going to be some players that are going to be uncomfortable sitting in that review. We've all been in there where you just know what's coming.
Bring the mouth guards?
Well, it's more that sitting in there watching it. Everyone will see it. He'll highlight all the incidents, and he looked angry. Yeah, he's saying that's not good enough. They didn't handle the pressure, and it won't be missed.
Certainly as a player, Michael Voss never shirked the issue and always played with a plenty of determination and grit, and he's just not getting it from his side.
I don't think they're going to the farm or the pub, Jace, by the it's just that
Interesting suggestions, weren't they? I enjoyed the question was asked, did you get the players' feedback? He said, no. I conveyed my words. He said it was short and sweet. So he hit him between the eyes.
Yep.
He told him exactly what he thought, unacceptable. And you're right. He had positives to hang on after last week's performance because they were competitive and they were close and all. That was a woeful second half. So they're back to the drawing board.
Trivia coming up.
Yes.
Yes. Going again.
Yep,
Yes.
we're going again with some trivia on Thursday night footy on Fox. And we'll also hear from Craig McRae tomorrow. It is Geelong and Melbourne. 6:30 p.m. Friday night footy on Fox from the Cattery.
All right, folks, there we go. It was the Magpies, a big win by 17 points over the Blue Baggers, 8-15-63, defeating the Blues 6-10-46. Well done to Collingwood. Dismal Carlton. They need to improve before they play West Coast Eagles. Next game, of course, gather round. We're playing over there in Adelaide. And, of course, Collingwood taking on Sydney in their next game. Should be an absolute ripper. We look forward to watching those two games coming up. And, of course, Saturday week, the 12th of April, is when Carlton take on West Coast Eagles, 1:20 p.m. Adelaide Oval. And, of course, Friday week, 7:40 p.m. Adelaide Oval, Collingwood take on Sydney. We have a little bit of a look at the ladder there. We're just spotting that up. Collingwood move into third position on the ladder after playing 4 games, 3 wins, 1 loss. Their first game, they got absolutely spanked by GWS. And, of course, ever since there, they've done their job. All right, folks, that's it. That's all I got for everyone out there tonight. Thanks for dropping in. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear from Craig McRae tonight, but you got Michael Voss in the press conference there, so it should be good. Don't forget, folks, coming up tomorrow night, we've got another big game. It's Geelong taking on Melbourne down there at GMHBA Stadium. 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time. It should be another great game to listen in on. Geelong, can they come off just a marginal defeat, or can Melbourne bounce back after a shellacking by North Melbourne in their last game? That will have to wait and see until tomorrow night, folks. 7:40 p.m. Melbourne time tomorrow night. Of course, that's down there at GMHBA Stadium down there in Geelong. Should be another good game. All right, folks, that's all from me. Thank you, everyone, for coming on in. And, of course, don't forget, we did take a vote tonight. And, of course, 70% went for the mighty Magpies to win this game tonight. So, on track, the Maggies. The Blues, a lot of soul-searching to do. We'll see what they bring to the table next game when they do play. All right, folks, that's me. Over and out. Ciao for now, folks. We'll see you at the next game.